Oh my God, we're here. We're live. We're on the internet. It's happening. Hello. Welcome back to space. How are you guys? I know we've been talking for like 10 minutes, but now we can tell everybody else. How
I
are
think
we?
that's why it's always weird too.
I
Is
know it
like
is.
we've been talking and hanging out, and then
I
it's like,
know.
"How are you?" And it's like, well, this part of the conversation is past already.
It's like the
I don't-
meeting
We're
before
ruining
the
the
meeting.
magic. We're ruining the magic. We
Yeah.
haven't been chatting.
Yes,
We
no
just
one
got
knows.
here. We showed up.
I believe the last phrase I heard before he went live was positions. So,
Lolly, get in position.
isn't that what a stage manager says? No, okay, great. That you're gonna
Places.
places. There we go. See,
Places,
I did not
please.
understand the reference
I don't know.
you're making. If
I
that's
don't
what
know.
you're going for.
Places,
break an arm.
please.
I got Twizzlers. I got drywall compound all over me. I don't care.
Now
We're gonna play
that's
some D&D. It's gonna be fun.
Okay.
Yeah, this man came straight from his rebuilding of a whole like domicile right here to space. So
Home
yeah,
reno into space. Boom.
that's commitment. I feel ya. I definitely have had a couple of like the rush to the stream last minute while I'm like got paint on my elbows and freaking grass in my shoes or whatever it is. It's good multitasking. Yeah.
hmm
What's going on? It's Tuesday. What's going on with everybody's lives?
I'm on day 14 of this play-by-post.
That's true. I'm with
That's
there
the
with
entirety of my life.
you. That's what happens. We're running a play-by-post adventure. It's long.
I'm trying to break the record for the longest session for a first-time DM. very
Broken, shattered.
Yeah, I think it is. It's like done.
Well,
weeks
I
ago.
think that part's not close. First, as soon as you say
Yeah,
first time
first
DM,
time.
I think it's not remotely close.
Shattered. Shattered. So
Shout out to
yeah,
Todd if he's in the chat.
he will be eventually, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm excited. I feel like it's been a minute since we've seen you, Grace. I know it's only been
Yeah.
like a week, but that feels like a really long time these days.
I know it feels like I haven't played D&D in a long time. Yeah.
I know. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
craziness.
Excited.
We had a good couple of like sessions, like dealing with the weirdness of the Mordekaiser and the kobolds, and now we're gonna like get back into it. So I'm looking forward to that. You guys leveled up. Level up. I feel like there should have been more fanfare around it. I was thinking about it and was like, well, what's the rush? And then as like soon as we ended last week, it might have been while we were still on, there was the like, hey, so no pressure, but like, when do we level up? And I was like, yeah, probably you should. Like, you getting chased through space by like ilphalids. You've been on like the planet of ogres. You've like rescued an angel. You just like fought off a whole legion of kobold scavengers. Like, that feels like fourth level, you know? So yeah, we leveled up. Nobody did anything crazy. We don't have any kind of like crazy multi-classing happening or anything like that. Kurt, you were going to roll hit points.
Yeah,
Live.
Live and in color.
always. Let's see.
Jake, the ranger. Here we go. Drum roll.
I clicked it, it didn't do anything.
Oh, no HP for Jake.
Just give him 3 like the rest of us got.
Yeah, right.
For
Close.
D10 plus 1, that's almost a 3.
That's brutal.
Pretty close. Yeah, it's pretty close. We all rolled pretty poorly on our HP.
This is terrible. I should just not let you roll anymore, huh? Yeah,
Wow.
okay. Jake gets 5 hit points. Jake, how do I pronounce your last name?
Doya.
It is Doya. Okay.
Yeah.
I
It's
thought
it's kind of Japanese slang for what?
so. Okay then.
Rhea, how do I pronounce your last name?
Dubrook.
Dubrook. See?
Dubrook. Yeah.
Dubrook.
Mhm.
Was that just a quiz to see if Grace remembered her character's last name?
It's exactly what that
I
was.
thought so.
I knew I had a last name. Nobody else knew I had a last name.
I did. I could have said it.
That's fantastic. Asturias, how do I pronounce your first name?
I think the
How do
bigger
I
question
spell
is how
your
do
first name?
spell my first name. Yes.
Oh
The
my
fact that
god.
Asterius doesn't have star in it just like shocks me to no end. I
It's
keep wanting
funny.
it to say Astarius.
Well, it came from like Astra is like Ad Astra is into the stars, and I moved on from there. But I
That
didn't
makes
want it to
sense.
be like that on the nose.
No,
Yeah.
that's actually a good one. I've been like every time I write all of your names down for stuff, which is an inordinate amount of times actually, like way more than one might guess. It's so nice, you know. It's like Lux, Doc, Jake, Rhea. It's all these simple four-letter names like Reginald. Whoa, hang on to your hats.
Let's call him Reg.
Bad man.
Yeah, they're literally Badman, and then I'm like, we call him Nick now anyway, and then I'm like, Asturias, oh boy, you know, it's like a whole spelling bee happening right
Just
there,
here
you
to
know?
troll you with difficulties.
Yeah, I mean, you've taken to the hat of the Dungeon Master well as you present complicated names with an overt number of vowels in them.
Aesturias. It's not hard.
Yeah, now I've got it, but it took me a minute there the first 35 times, you know?
And I never write it because I just write I. And I can spell it.
That's fantastic. I love it. Cool. So we're back. We're back for a little bit more Dragonfly action. We had like a dynamic week. We've got like this fun like rotating cast of characters week to week. I'm like really enjoying this dynamic. I don't know how it feels for you all, like coming in and out all the time, if it's like feeling disjointed, if you feel the sense of camaraderie or not. But I'm like digging it. I like the rotating crew, I think.
I think it makes for a fun game experience and a challenging narrative experience sometimes, right? But I think we like once we hit our groove about like, you know, when do we go back to the ship versus when do we stay out there? I think that like that's the only downside is that sort of thing. But no, I love playing with everybody. It's really fun.
Cool.
Yeah, it's like
cool.
last week. I just got to go and watch a bunch of people I like play D&D. It's fine. That's the alternative to not when you're not on. But that's a fair trade-off.
You get to watch your friends play. It's good. I'm digging it. I'm really like loving this campaign. I'm having fun like digging back through all the Spelljammer stuff. I don't know. They are like is some rumors in the rumor mill that Wizards is going to be coming out with 2 of the old campaign settings, that they have like 2 books potentially in production right now for like classic campaign settings. And people have been screaming about Spelljammer like since 5e came out, which is weird because it wasn't that popular at the time compared to everything else. But I think that like the zeitgeist is so changed so much that people are ready for D&D in space. They badly want it. So one part of me would like love that. I would love like a little bit more actual official like text. And the other part of me is like, I'm good. Like I have so much fun going back through these old books and like kind of ripping them apart and piecing them back together. But yeah, even like that adventure last week was a twist on like a very classic adventure from like the original Spelljammer box set. And I had fun with that. So yeah, cool. But I guess we've got the gang all here. Do any of you have any questions as we did our level ups? Is there any like bookkeeping stuff or like housekeeping that we should check in on? Any big like character stuff we need to talk about?
Not that I can think of. I left my notebook
really-
upstairs, so you know I'm not going to remember any names. But there you go.
Rip.
Rip. There's a town, or there's a planet with water. I know that's what's happening.
Yep, that's true.
Cerealia?
Yeah, you got it. You got it.
Nice.
You got it. Look at that.
The other
diplomat
academic in the
knows.
room has got it.
Yeah, for real. Okay, cool. So I suppose that being the case, we should get back to it then. So I think as we last left our heroes, the lot of you had found... That's a good replacement for a full notebook.
That was a
the
nice
last-
news desk
Stack
move,
of paper.
Richard.
I was like,
Yeah.
I had to write down like my abilities on paper in front of me, or I will forget to use them. That's what this is. Sorry, Rich.
No, you're fine. I committed Super 80s for my like space notebook. I'm like going full composite. Like, let's do it.
I literally like every session. It's like AC 15, shield, arcane deflection, arcane recovery. Yeah.
Do you guys have post-it notes to remind you of your abilities? Is that a thing you all do?
I know Melissa does.
Yeah.
When she
Oh,
plays
yeah.
Yeah,
Paladin.
it's the Melissa move.
Yeah, that's why I was curious, because I was like, gosh, that's a good move.
Yeah, I definitely have a post-it, and that's why I've never forgotten to use guidance ever.
Right. That's right.
Cool. So, where we last left our heroes, the lot of you, having lifted off from the ogre-ruled planet of Malpieti Prime, you began your journey to the nearest world that you had cataloged, a water world called Cerelia, a place of islands and archipelagos that, according to the records you have from near 1,000 years ago, there was a port of some significance for spacefarers similar to you all. And so while you journeyed to said water world, you found this large suit of armor, a mecha, one might call it, floating through space. You spent what amounted to the better part of a day exploring it, battling kobolds that were inside, a group of scavengers who called themselves the Droon and had what appeared to be domesticated rust monsters and phase spiders, which they had used to strike out at this massive weapon floating through the stars. You discovered the crew of this vehicle, a group of soldiers that were AWOL from one of the grand mercenary companies. You offered them refuge on your ship, though they did not take you up on the offer, using your presence there as cover for them to make their escape. And so after battling the kobolds to their defeat and beginning to scavenge the cockpit in the head of this gigantic space mech, where you retrieved a crystal ball and a massive sort of astral compass that was seated in the floor of this of the bridge of this ship, you turned just in time to see out the portal in the front the sight of this dead Kindori whale that you guys just can't seem to shake. All of space at your disposal, but this whale is hot on your heels. And as this rotting, desiccated Kindori whale, controlled by the Lich, the Illithich, Vran the Undying, passed into frame, the lot of you, with calls from Rhea to flee back to the Dragonfly, you grabbed this crystal ball and astral compass. You snatched up the spoils of victory that you had garnered from overwhelming these kobolds, and you raced back onto the deck of the Dragonfly. And so I believe as our camera opens up tonight, we see the small form of your green and yellow ship kind of cutting away from this broken monstrosity, this towering hundreds of foot tall suit of armor floating in the void, the dead Kandori whale circling around it, and the tiny form of the dragonfly darting away, nimble and quick, weaving away through the stars. And so I think as the camera kind of shifts into the ship itself, we find the lot of you in the cargo area, the cargo bay in the back, the body and kind of tail section of the dragonfly, as it were. And so Rhea and Jake, the two of you had stayed behind while your friends had kind of returned to deal with these kobolds inside. And Asturias, Professor, as you two come back in, the Badman and Lux like head for the cockpit with Doc. And yeah, you all have brought back a good deal of spoils. I believe that you retrieved a pair of what seem to be communication devices from some of the lesser kobolds. Bracers taken off Garrick, the leader of these Droon. There's a crystal ball and this massive kind of compass. And yeah, with the four of you in the cargo hold kind of peering out of the portals, you could see this whale in the distance lingering as the form of the Mordekaiser shrinks and diminishes while you gain distance away from it.
We should not engage them. I don't know about you, but I'm spent.
I mean, I've just been here.
We've been
So-
playing cards.
Yeah, I keep letting Jake win, but tell him.
Well, needless to say, it was a quite easy fight, to be honest. But the getting out of there, seeing, and I think Reginald just like leaves and goes to his room.
Fair enough. It's just like, and so Reginald like heads up towards the front, opening the door and kind of like vanishing into his room, leaving a lot of you.
Didn't even say goodnight.
Nobody wants to tell us what happened. Well, the three of us who didn't go, didn't go.
And I think that Lux is like, "Oh, I'll tell you exactly what happened," and it starts like.
I love that the person who was there last week just walked out of the room and left the three people who were not there to be like, okay.
I think it's fine. I think Lux is like, "I'll tell you exactly what happened." It starts like recounting the tale as the professor's door shuts and the badman up front. I think we hear the voice of Doc like, "Are you sure you know how to drive this thing?" Just like, "It's fine."
Better go help them.
And I think the camera like fades to black, and we get like the script at the bottom of the screen of like 3 days later. So I think a lot of you have had time to recuperate and rest. To regain your health and vitality after the battering you took at the hands of these opponents. You've put a great deal of distance between you and the Mordekaiser. And yeah, you're about
that tough.
You're about a day out from this planet Cerelia, as it were. But so yeah, is there anything happening here in the ship? I think as we open back up and like the group of you would probably be like in the cockpit or whatever, Badman is napping. Lux and Doc are like working on like attaching this compass in the back.
I think Rhea is like nervously sort of looking at Jake, has been nervous to tell him something. And so then she like starts to lean in, and then she goes, I can do this. And she says it, but in Aquan.
Oh.
I wasn't sure if you we're okay to speak like this, they can't hear us now. They don't know what we're saying.
It's like our own secret language.
Oh, Rhea blushes at that. It's very, very satisfying to have a secret language with the turtle.
Does it sound like
know.
gargling or like?
I don't know what it sounds like. Is that what it sounds like?
Blue.
Yeah, anytime we have it would just go blue.
It sounds like the sound that a water cooler makes when it releases the bubbles.
That's right. Okay, this will be our secret. They won't know we're even talking. They'll just think we have like air bubbles coming up from we just have digestion issues. They'll never know.
What if we do have digestion issues? Then we'll confuse each other.
I don't know.
That's okay.
That's a good question. I don't have an answer for.
The whale.
I'll pray to Clancy.
Has the whale meat not been agreeing with Jake? Is that quietly what you're trying to get across here?
Oh crap! He's still got that inside his shell. He leaves quickly to dispose of the whale meat that he's been holding for a long time.
I think Asturias will come in and be like, and ask Rhea if she'll help her make more copies of the diplomat code of conduct.
Oh yeah,
because we had talked about that.
Yeah, I got lots of blank paper. I was going to use it for pamphlets, but I think I have enough. So
kind of seems like you have a lot of pamphlets. Yeah, we could use some copies of the code of conduct at least for the rest of the crew.
Yeah, we should have at least 7 copies. You never know when one of us will need to be the diplomat.
It's true.
Jake is in storage. I think Jake. That's where Jake's nest is. And he kind of lives in the cargo hold. And he's like made a comfortable corner, like a fort almost. But he's like organizing. He's just organizing.
I think over the course of those like 3 days, eventually kind of Reginald, after just like a long night's rest, it kind of comes out and to anyone who's awake and around, begins to, and then for the next 2.5 days, continuously talks about the spiders. These spiders that appeared and then disappeared, and that flying kobolds were on. And he talks about it, I think, as almost like you would describe a dream that doesn't quite make sense to you. I think generally everyone's been looped in on the that the whole interaction there. And I think we're just kind of at that, like, maybe it's a conversation with Jake around, Jake, I was wondering, what would one expect with a water planet?
Well, I've never been to one other than, well, this is my first time off our planet. But a lot of water. And when there's stops being water, there's often coastline.
Right.
But I don't know.
And they eat a lot of fish.
I don't know if there's land or not. I'm assuming that there is.
I believe my research implied that there was some. There are kobolds who live there, in which case I would imagine that they're not underwater all the time. Perhaps they're swimming kobolds. That would be something.
And if this is a popular spaceport, or used to be, then that means it's likely has facilities for those who cannot swim or breathe underwater.
I can swim. I just cannot breathe underwater. And I think Reginald kind of just like briefly looks over at Rhea to see how Rhea responds to that assertion that he can swim, but he can't breathe underwater.
Like a turtle. But you're not one though.
No.
I actually can't swim.
Uh-oh.
I can fly, but I can't swim.
I can hold my breath a long time.
I really prefer fire to water.
No, you shouldn't.
No.
Water puts out fire, so it's like a whole rock paper scissors thing.
Not gonna go.
That is a good reminder. Perhaps I shall adjust the spells that I bring with me in hopes that my arcane abilities are not extinguished by the natural elements.
I can walk underwater.
You know, many people believe that the Gif are incapable of swimming due to their large size. However, we are quite mobile in the water, the Gif Q in particular. We float near the top, lifting our snoot just above the waterline, and then tread with our hands and feet. Perhaps that would work for you, Jake.
I also don't float.
Oh no.
Okay, I'm gonna have to give Jake swimming lessons. I think that should be the first thing we do when we go to. Jake needs to swim. He's a turtle, so.
Can I come?
Yeah. We can all do it.
Rhea, you can swim, yes?
I'm so tall, and most of the time I can touch the bottom of the water, but I think I could swim.
Space pools?
I can only doggy paddle.
I can swim.
Doggy paddle. I'm not familiar with that terminology, but I sense from your charade that it is some form of moving your hands in front of you.
I mean, I can move myself through the water, but it's at a normal pace.
Like normal for us or normal for you?
Yep.
Normal for us.
Okay. For us, yeah. Okay, us.
Yes. For us. Did we? I don't remember. Did we have a particular destination within the planet to which we were going?
I think that's a great question, just to like dig in a little bit. I think this data orb that you have received from your benefactor, Yavanna, it's old. It's a bunch of information that existed from the time before, from like probably somewhere in the range of 1,000 years ago, when space travel was a more common and prolific thing. And so this is really like the mission that you all have been tasked with, is to follow up on this information that you have and see how much of it is accurate, how much of it is valid. So you have an identifier of like a specific location here on Cerelia that was once a series of islands, an archipelago or whatever, an island chain with a large like community of like kobolds that were known to be mechanics, traders, inventors, and that, this would be the most likely landing site for you. Though I don't know if that's what your specific ideas are in terms of like coming in on this place.
I must confess I'm quite concerned about making first contact with kobold mechanics after our interaction on the Mordekaiser. Does anyone else share that concern?
Yeah, it's a logical point, but we're just not going to go to the planet. Like, what else are we going to do?
I will say,
planet.
I know out of character is not fun, but my memory is terrible. So I will say I have in my notes from 2 weeks ago, right? Math? Yeah. A proliferation of kobolds on the limited surface space above the ocean. They're known for their work on machinery. So there is some land.
Yes.
The name of the port was called Waroto.
Waroto. Can I get a spelling on that?
Yep, absolutely. You get Whiroto. Waroto.
WHIROT.
Like we're.
Yeah.
Like Toto.
I got there. My
Waroto.
brain still didn't process it.
It's all good.
Yeah.
You're still a drywall hanging mode. It's Waroto.
Yeah, I was going to say, this town of Waroto.
You're going to get Rich to just name things so that it'll be fun to hear you say them.
Yeah.
I'm okay to do whatever. I'm nothing if not a team player. But I will be more reserved, I believe, and leave the rest of you to explore more grandly.
Yeah, that's a good point, except if they all speak Draconic again, you gotta be the lead, I think. So, there's that little piece,
Touche.
Yeah.
Touche. Yeah. You made an extra copy of that handbook, yes, Asturias?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Everybody can have one.
I give Reggie a copy, but it's like littered with like little Clancy things. So like it's like it's a little bit like tampered with from the original. It's like Clancy says you should do this versus just like the regular version.
Sure.
So I do give that to Reggie.
I do also speak Draconic.
Ha! Then it seems destiny is on my side.
He's like, bye.
I take the pamphlet and I give it. I take it from.
Rhea, they can each have their own. They don't have to share.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry.
That's quite fine. Well then, are there any other preparations that we should make before landing?
I guess I just want to touch on the couple of things that you retrieved from your exercise there in the Mordekaiser.
Yes, please. Bracers in particular. What's up with those?
It's this pair of like copper and kind of chrome bracers that were very like reflective and shiny. I will ask, Professor, do you have Identify?
No, of course not.
No.
Now, did I just get new spells and also not get Identify? That's correct.
Yes.
That's perfectly reasonable. But you do have Detect Magic, perhaps? Or not even?
I do. I can detect magic.
There you go. Ryan's got it. Clancy's got the wheel, thankfully.
How do I not have Identify? Good Lord, Troy. What are you doing?
I think that Rhea, like over the days of travel after the flight from the Mordekaiser, you would have been able to like ask for Clancy's blessings to perceive the magics woven into these things. And so the bracers are bound with this abjuration magic. And I think honestly they're pretty straightforward. After a few days of investigation and study, Professor, you're like easily able to discern there might be more to them, but they're bracers of protection. And thusly would offer a bonus to the armor class of an individual that does not wear other armor or use a shield. They're essentially like +2 to your AC if you don't have armor or a shield on. Bracers of protection. Amongst the other things you got was a crystal ball. I would say, without Identify, probably an Arcana roll from somebody could discern the deeper workings of this. And then there were a pair of stones you took from the kobolds.
Yes, I believe that Reggie could. I believe that Reggie could intuit from their use, as could the others.
Yeah,
that they were a communication device.
Indeed, they're sending stones.
Yeah.
So you have these this pair of sending stones, bracers of defense, the crystal ball, and then there were a few trinkets and whatnot. Asturias, this crystal ball is beyond you.
It sure is.
Can I get in on that, or would Rhea prefer to?
No,
okay.
I'm not very smart.
Okay, I'll add in.
I am, but I've still never seen a crystal ball before.
12.
Wow. These academics in their books, we don't know a whole lot about.
Me and my +7 rolling it out.
I think that what's daunting for you, Reginald, is that you know that some of these devices are built with additional factors woven into their enchantments. Some allow for telepathy, some even more powerful things. And so there's a bit of trepidation as you examine it, given your experience there. You're not sure if they might conjure spiders, right? And so fundamentally, I think you are able to discern, at the very least, that you could use this item to cast the scrying spell. And there may be more to it to be revealed.
I could use those bracers. I am not able to wear armor, and if I didn't have to carry my shield, I could attack with my hammer 2 hands all the time. Or more easily hold a torch. Or no, that was it.
No or.
Jake should have them. Jake should have. We have to protect Jake at all costs, so Jake should have them.
Yes, I believe that Jake speaks for two at this moment. That makes quite sense to me. Would you agree, Astorius? It seems Jake is in a position of taking much pain and does not have the arcane abilities to protect himself in the same way that I do. And I think most of the others do wear some form of armor or use a shield.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Very well.
I speak for myself. It just so happens that I agree with everything Jake says all the time.
I apologize, Trey. It seems I have misunderstood the closeness with which you and Jake exist.
And then we chuckle. I'm willing to share.
Shit.
If someone needs them when I am not using them.
I see.
You can play with my toys when I'm playing with other toys, as Grandmama Turtle would tell me.
Pre-Turtle School. Yes.
Certainly something to consider, and perhaps if we both should survive today, we could arrange some sort of agreement.
Wonderful.
Okay. So is Jake going to strap him on?
As for this crystal ball, I can't make heads or tails of it. But we could possibly use it to look in upon someone. That much appears true. But I don't know if it is safe or effective or quite frankly, how often one could use it.
Rich, did you already add the Bracer's Defense to my character sheet?
Indeed, I did.
Because I just added it and I saw I had 2 sets. I can do this, dude. I got it.
You're both so fast.
I'm just looking for something to keep myself busy.
What is the scry? You said scrying spell?
Yeah.
You said?
It's like looking in on someone. It's like going and like peeking in at where they are and what they're doing.
It's very
can we see what Clancy's doing?
Perhaps.
Okay. Wait. Save that for a rainy day. Okay.
Does it rain in space?
No. You have to be somewhere with an atmosphere. So not like in space.
Well then, the first rainy day that we have on a planet which has precipitation, then
Probably
we shall
on
attempt.
This water planet. Because there's a lot of water that tends to come from precipitation.
Oh, I was using one of those things, a metaphor.
Ah.
Oh. Well.
One of those,
Wow.
Understanding cultural customs and idioms is not my strength. I apologize.
That's okay.
Have you made any progress on understanding the compass, what it does, its purpose?
Rich?
Yeah.
Can I use my proficiency with navigator's tools to see if I can understand anything about the compass?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that Doc.
Query intelligence?
Yeah, I think go for it. Make a navigator's tools check with intelligence. I think Doc has spent a couple of days like working with Lux to try to like affix it in the ship. Oh, Jake. Oh,
we're rolling so good.
Oh.
He has no
intelligence. Guidance. I just guidance.
Oh, God.
Oh, you're gonna do a check over there, eh? Cool.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
So bad at it.
Well, for all of y'all who are watching this right now, just know We're the best. This is just the best D&D crew you could get together. We're optimal min-max. Why min-max when you can just mid, right?
Yeah, just mid. Get a
So accurate.
Get a full group together
We're
of
gonna come
dungeon
across,
masters
like-
and watch them min. Yeah.
We're gonna come across that the rival adventurers. They're like the max crew, and we're just gonna like each hate like one of them.
Who's max crew, right?
Yes, exactly.
Why is
The
that
guiders.
turtle? Why is that turtle swimming? Not cool.
That gift queue is so charming and alert.
An alert.
Did you see how he fired that ballista successfully?
He moves on his
Too soon,
toes
Jake,
like a
too soon.
ballerina.
The good man. Who's that good?
Good man. My name is Christopher. They call me the Goodman.
Goodman.
Your flying dragon is named Syrup? I can't.
I'm so ready to just TPK this whole group so we can go roll with those guys.
How very dare you?
I know they got me all worked up. So I think that like you're not really sure, but Doc thankfully is on the job, and I think that she comes back. She's got like some grease smeared on her cheek, waffles like tooling along next to her. And she's just like, well, the work's almost done. It's gonna take a few more days to get this all situated and figure out what's happening here. I need to get some rest. And with Lux at the helm of the ship, she's like, we're closing in now, guys. Hey, Prez, thank you for the sub. That's awesome.
Hey.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, you guys are, I think Lux is like calling you in to the bridge of the ship where you can peer out through these sort of twin kind of glass steel hemispheres that make the eyes in the cockpit of the Dragonfly. And in the distance, you see this glimmering blue globe of a world hanging amid the void of space with the stars like sprawled out around it in the background, right? And Lux is like, we're going to be there pretty soon. What's the plan, you guys? A few more hours. We're closing in.
Land.
Yeah, find land, like not water.
Because we can like zoom low across the surface like a plane, right?
Like a dragonfly
yeah.
across water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're very
Can we do water landings?
No, you do not float.
Can we do water sinkings?
Your feet will attach to surfaces. You can hang
Get me
even
out.
upside down. You can land like horizontally or inverted, but you cannot float. Your ship, like, it might float, but like it's not like really well designed to be in water. The wings are great for space, but And so Lux is like, Weroto?
Hiroto, yes. Yes.
All right.
We go and examine, see if the report from the orb is accurate.
You got it. Bringing it in. And so with Doc kind of resting for the afternoon and the Badman nowhere in sight.
Over there.
Yeah, I like that he thinks he's nowhere inside.
Yeah,
He's like crouched in the corner, like his eyes peering up from behind a crate as he looks at you like, I'm the night. Jeffrey's like walking around in the crate. Get out of here, Jeffrey.
I heard him coughing up the cat, so it was quite simple.
And so Lux leads the ship down. So over the next few hours, I think we see the sight of the Dragonfly kind of closing in, this planet growing bigger and bigger until finally you all are dropping down in. And I think that a lot of you, like, I guess, where are you? Where would you orient yourself in the ship? Are you hanging out in the cockpit?
Yeah, I want to get a view of where we're going.
Yeah, so we see like the four of you with Lux like in the helm, her
we
eyes
typically
closed.
depart through the cargo hold. Like, does it like lower down the back and?
Mm-hmm. The cargo hold does have like the ramp that folds out of the back.
Yeah, that's typically where Jake is.
Okay, cool. And so, yeah, while Jake's like hanging out in the back, the rest of you kind of in the cargo or in the bridge, you're watching as you come like zooming down through, and I think it's that classic like everything goes gray, you're kind of cutting through the clouds, condensation beating up on the exterior of the glass steel in the front until like the clouds part, and beneath you is like this roiling like greenish gray sea, waves breaking and like chopping up around you, the dragonfly kind of racing along, this soft like rainfall all around you as you have found your rainy day, Rhea. And as you're kind of cruising along, I think Lux, like sitting back in the ship, she's like, "Oh no, this doesn't look great, guys. What's that?" And as you peer out, gosh, I should learn nautical terms by now on week 6. What's the right side of the ship? Starboard?
Starboard.
It is.
Starboard, yeah.
See, I don't need to learn it because I already know.
Port is left. They both have 4 letters.
Yep. Oh, look at you.
I always remember because I go left to right and it's port and starboard alphabetical. That's how I remember.
I remember it the same way Zad remembers it.
Left to right.
I played a pirate for several years.
That's true. This is true.
It is very
I
good.
was a pirate for 7 years.
Oh,
Okay.
Oh, Napster. Yeah, that's a good one.
7 years of pirate. Oh my god. Well played. Well played.
Incredible.
The
Would you
pirate of
steal
the
a
Napster
car?
Seas.
Sorry. Would you download a car? All right, sorry, Rich. Get back to playing.
Bringing
your
it back.
narrative.
We're
Bringing
having
it
fun.
back.
We're having fun.
We are having fun. I think that
This is candy.
I think this crew of would-be internet pirates, as you're like peering out of the cockpit, you see off the starboard side of the ship these kind of shapes like trailing along even with the ship. They're much smaller than the ship itself, but I think that like Lux begins to like maybe pull away from them a little bit, and they pitch like turning and kind of following you, and it's a few heartbeats. You're like watching as they turn and begin to arc straight towards the ship, and you realize that there are these large flying creatures. They appear to be almost reptilian. They have these long like pointed heads almost with beaks on them, and these enormous almost like kind of 20-foot wingspans stretching out from either side, and they're starting to close in. You could see that their skin is like this like rough kind of red almost scales. They don't seem like dragons per se. They're not long, but rather like these almost like squat bodies that are just stretched into these enormous wings, and you could see they appear to almost be like trailing this little bit of like clouds beside them. And I think that Lux is like, this doesn't seem great, you guys. I think, oh yeah, oh they're coming for us. Evasive maneuvers, and the ship like rocks and rolls. Places, please. And I think Jake, like the camera cuts to you in the cargo hold as like the ship like lurches quickly, and you have to like crouch down, catching your footing. But your well secured cargo back here, nothing falls because you have strapped everything in so appropriately.
He turtles.
Tonk. I think a lot of you hear like a thunking sound.
The master of the Skype emojis. It's so good.
As Jake pulls himself within his shell and his massive bulk like tonk thumps onto the floor of the cargo ship and back, you all hear this thunking sound. And so with Lux at the helm, I think she's like, I don't know if we're going to be able to fly these things. I don't know what we should do here, you guys.
How far away from the ship are they?
At this point, they're about 40 feet and closing.
Directly toward us.
Yeah, they're like moving like, at a perpendicular kind of angle towards you, like coming straight for the ship. Yep.
I think this is where we go to the upper deck. I think.
Evasive maneuvers.
Oh, we could do an evasive maneuver, or we could go towards them and fight them.
I mean, if we're flying forward and they're flying this way, then we just keep going, and then they keep going that way.
No, but like they're chasing us.
We just fly past them, right? You said perpendicular. You didn't
Do
say
whatever you think is
way.
best.
You
We'll
said
go.
this way.
I'm gonna go to the upper deck.
Damn it, Asturias! I'm a pilot, not a trigonometrist.
Listen, I didn't go to school for math.
Rhea, you're gonna make your way to the upper deck. As you head into the cargo hold, you see Jake like completely within his shell, this big massive shell just like sitting in the middle of the floor. Yep.
It's beautiful. Okay.
It's beautiful.
It's
Protect
beautiful.
yourself, Jake.
Yeah, not one to leave someone flying solo. I think Reginald follows up onto the upper deck.
Okay. Oh yeah, look at you moving yourself.
Hey, I move myself all the time.
Does Jake perceive
Very moving.
that this is going on? Like the
Oh,
people
yeah.
at the upper deck?
Yeah, I think you totally hear the footsteps of your friends coming by. You heard Rhea like,
Can't you
protect
see us down the
yourself.
hole? Can't you, like,
Yeah, like blink, blink. Jake will emerge from his shell. Well, his head and limbs. And that would just be weird. And he will proceed, following Ray up to the upper deck.
Okay, excellent. And so I think that as the lot of you like make your way up to this upper deck, emerging out of like one of the cargo bays onto the back of it, the wind is kind of whipping past you, the moisture in the air. You hear the sound of the waves crashing some like 40, 50 feet beneath the ship as the wings are like buzzing, and you guys are kind of pitched the slightest bit forward, humming along, and peering back off the ship. You could see they're like closing in a little bit now. These big, massive, kind of reddish skinned reptilian like creatures flying towards you. And kind of like following along behind them are these swarms almost of like these smaller creatures like darting in and out. It almost gives the impression of like that big bird getting chased by a bunch of smaller birds kind of thing.
Just picturing like Big Bird.
Big Bird. That's
yeah.
what I picture.
Yeah. It's a lot
And the
like
Benny
what
Hill theme's playing. Yakety sax in the background.
Snuffleupagus is
Sorry.
giving Big Bird
Yeah.
a hard time, you know.
Guys, don't bite me.
And so yeah, the ship, to Asturias' point, is like outdistancing them a little bit, but they're kind of falling in behind you and like closing, and they seem to be like moving with like real power and decisiveness, closing in towards the ship.
Are they possibly an escort? Wait, no, they'd be ahead of us. Never mind.
Maybe these are their diplomats.
Who even
Coming out to
knows
greet
we're
us.
here?
Have we ever seen anything like this? Do they appear to be like mounted, or are they just like creatures?
They're just creatures. There's definitely no like saddles or like any kind of like fabricated construction on top of them. I don't know. Is anybody proficient in nature? Who is ever proficient in nature could make a nature check.
I think I'm a nature domain.
You are.
I am,
So weird.
but I'm not smart, so I am pretty bad at it. I could do a nature check.
Go for it. That's our favorite. We love bad rolls.
Well, I didn't
Oh,
mean
yeah.
to roll.
We've had
yeah.
plenty of them.
We love bad rolls.
I would cast guidance, but I don't think that would help very much.
That's my favorite thing. Like, we have so little confidence in each other. We don't even bother with guidance.
Nope.
We just expect to
Nope.
fail.
Wait, okay, hold on. With my speak with animals, it says that the casting time is when the duration is 10 minutes. Does it take me 10 minutes to cast it, or I can speak to animals for 10 minutes?
The duration lasts for 10 minutes. It's just like an action for you to cast it. It should be.
Yeah. Should I do? I mean, it is an animal. Should I try that? Do I have time to do that? They're coming in pretty close.
They're starting to like close in on the ship here. Yeah, like you see them coming. So you all have like kind of like a moment here. If you want to try to cast it before they close, you could.
I'm gonna try something different. I'm gonna try animal friendship. A beast that you can see within range. It has to be within 30 feet, so I might have to wait.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think you shall. I think, what's everybody else doing? Professor?
noticing that you opened up the turn initiative. I am. I think Reginald is like trying to take a look and trying to be on the alert for any sort of danger. So not just like, oh, there's something new, but like trying to basically sort out friend from foe.
Mm-hmm.
That's and then put his hand in his pocket, prepared to cast something if foe.
Okay. Asturias?
Asturias is like, oh, I should have stayed downstairs. Because they're thinking, like, what if the ship dropped down? Because the things that are coming are flying so fast and we could go down and then they could fly past us and then we'd be behind them.
That's what I meant by evasive maneuvers.
Right, yeah, no, I agree with you, but you came upstairs, so then I came upstairs too.
But
And then you ran away from me to the back of the ship, apparently.
Lux can still do that maneuver.
Lux is flying the ship. We trust Lux and Doc.
Yeah.
Okay, I think Asturias will, like, poke their head down the stairs and be like, Lux, drop down.
You got it, evasive maneuvers! I think you just probably hear like, what, you don't trust me? No. And so, Jake, what are you doing? As you're up on the deck here, you see these like large creatures kind of flying in towards the ship.
Oh,
You're muted, Kurt.
Yep, I am. Ray is casting?
I have speak with animals, but I don't know if I should cast it right now.
That's what I was thinking. Same.
We could each talk to. Okay, I'll cast it. Okay, I'll cast it. I was gonna save it and do animal friendship, but we could talk to the animals. We could talk to them. They're coming.
How far are they?
Yeah, how far are they?
They're. I'll move them up a little bit. They should be around 40 feet.
Shouted animals.
Do they appear to be like koboldic in any way?
There is a vague resemblance in terms of like their reptilianness, but they're not really draconic.
Oh, there goes that.
And what was my name? What was my name?
I had the same
know
idea.
what they were, or to see? Do they look like they want to fight us and eat us?
They look like predatory animals. Yeah, you get the impression that like they're like predatory creatures. You're able to, I think, at least perceive that much, Rhea.
I will shout at them in Draconic, because if there are kobolds who are native to the planet, if these are trained creatures or they're used to like simple commands or threats, Jake will shout in Draconic, steer clear of us.
No,
And I think
steering
that they
clear of
respond.
them.
As he's taking out his bow.
Oh,
I
can't
think they
understand
respond like, and they just, their wings tuck in and they start like diving towards the ship. And yeah, I'll put the initiative turn order back up right now because I think you guys could roll your initiative at this point.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't want to be the first one. Oh, I didn't click myself. Darn.
Rookie mistake.
Let's see if roll. Oh, maybe I already had myself clicked, but roll 20 is being stupid.
Yeah, roll 20 is being weird today, huh?
Rich, could I have used mending on my chainmail?
Yeah, absolutely. Between like you and Doc, like kind of like, oh, fix this part, fix that part. You're definitely in good shape. You can get it all fixed up. Oh yeah, look at all you. Gosh, amazing. I didn't even have to say click your tokens, not a single time. How
It's
very
almost like you're playing with a
impressive.
bunch of DMs.
It's amazing. It's remarkable. So yeah, Professor, you don't want to be first, and yet, as you're watching, I think your deductive analysis is such that you realize, like these stupid things are going to attack the ship.
Is that how big they are compared to us?
Yeah.
Oh. Oh yeah, you were comparing them to the ship size of the ship before, which
Yeah.
I couldn't clue.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Oh, I just now saw them. I'm sorry. Wow.
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
I hadn't seen them either. I was like, I guess
Okay.
if we're an initiative, there's probably enemies on the map. Yeah, okay. Yeah, there are. Yeah.
What are the small things?
As you're like looking now, Jake, behind them, trailing behind them are like these much smaller things. It's clear they're not like young versions of the same animals. There's these much smaller flying things that why don't you make a nature check, Jake?
Rich, are we
Because I'm
fighting
not proficient in
dinosaurs?
it, and I don't have and I have an intelligence of modifier of 0.
With an intelligence of zero.
Better than mine. Well, mine is 1.
I'm not trying. Like Jake isn't trying to figure out what they are because he's not proficient.
I
in
just was
nature.
going to see if it was a thing that you knew, though, if that was like passive information, because these are less rare.
Pass intelligence.
Yeah, so
Fine.
to that end, you do not recognize them, though they look distinctly different. They have this long, like, needle-like proboscis at their mouth, and, like, their wings were moving much more like the dragonflies than these large creatures. Like, their wings are like, bzzz, like, moving very quickly.
They sturge-like.
Perhaps, though your nature check cannot confirm such specificity.
But I will assume Jake has met a sturge because
Sure.
he is
Smuggler of the swamplands?
he spent a lot of time in swamps.
Mhm.
That yeah. He does. That's not his preferred terrain, but that's where he got his ooze enemy.
His ooze on.
His
Yeah.
ooze enemy.
He got his
So-
ooze on.
Get
I
your
think
ooze on.
Reginald, seeing that a fight is imminent, will reach in and grasp his decoder wheel, which will serve as his focus at this point.
Uh-huh.
And I think he's going to try something, but recognizing, I think he had a plan when they were maybe 200 feet away.
Mhm.
And now that they're 20 feet away, he's questioning that plan, given that they appear much larger when they're closer.
Mm-hmm.
But nevertheless,
Objects
he
in
will...
the rear view of your spaceship are much
Yes,
larger than
exactly. yes. The pterodactyls behind you. Nevertheless, he is going to pick the upper one, and he is going to cast Earthbind on it.
Oh.
New spell. Who dis? Did I anticipate that Rich would put flying creatures in our world? Yes, I did. And
This is a really good choice. I feel very countered.
But it is a strength saving throw, which actually I probably should have changed up my order, but that's okay. It is a strength saving throw, which I have a feeling that they're probably pretty strong for how big they are.
Okay, so Reginald like points the decoder ring, and these yellow bands of energy like leap off of it, spiraling towards them. I shall make a saving throw. 12. That's a failure. Which one did you say?
The upper one.
Yeah, and so with that, these bands like wrap around, and it's just like suddenly like its wings like fold in underneath it, and its body just kind of twists, falling out of like your line of sight, plummeting down beneath the ship towards the ocean below, where I think like you hear the sound of like and you see like the splash from the distance because this thing like plummets down into the ocean as you're zooming along. Yeah.
And I think the professor, with his hand still out, turns back and goes, "Got one!"
Reginald, that was your action.
my
You have
turn.
movement and
That's
a bonus action. That's it? You're
That's
going to
it.
hold your ground here?
Indecision.
That's the stern of the ship, right? Is that right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Boy. Can he like get a little bit of cover if he does a bad man roll into the whatchamacallit?
Into the
Calling it
cargo?
rough.
But are you going to roll right back out of it instantly?
I
Otherwise, it's
don't
not a
know.
bad man.
Yeah, really. I think that there's like the problem is it's a little bit of height down into like the cargo deck underneath.
Yeah, it's true.
You know
It's
what
true.
I mean?
Yeah, I think, you know what? Bring it on. And he will stay there.
Okay, cool. That brings us to Asturias.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Asturias is going to. Is this
Cat
right?
problems.
Hmm.
I got cat problems.
Yeah, you and me both. Which do I want to do? Oh, I have another second level spell slot now. That's useful.
Indeed it is.
5-foot radius, huh? Yeah, why not? It's dramatic, which I like. Let's cast Moonbeam. Let's just do it. On the lower squadron of dinosaur-looking
Nice.
friends.
AOE.
Yeah. Asturias loves to harness the power of the moon. And then they're going to turn into stars, because what else would they do? Yeah, I'm just looking.
That's exactly what the moon looks like.
Yeah. Yeah.
And did you
Well,
say
yeah, you could put it there, Rich, but if you scoot it over, I can hit more things than just that guy.
I wouldn't want. Why would I want to do that? That seems
You
like
wouldn't,
a bunch
but you're
of
not
bullshit.
casting the moonbeam. You're just putting the light on the map.
Seems
The
like a
boss is
bunch
the
of
sun.
bullshit. Yeah.
What's the size of Moonbeam?
A
It's-
5-foot radius. A
So it's
40-foot beam, and a 5-foot radius.
Cylinder. Okay.
So we're shooting a spotlight at the big guy and his 3 little friends.
And yeah, you drop this column of moonlight down, glimmering the silver light, like in the midst of this kind of gray, dreary rain that's falling all around you. They take damage at the start of their turns, I believe, right?
I think that's right. Let me drop it in the chat too.
Drop it into chat.
On saving, when a creature enters the spell's area or a turn starts, or on for the first time on a turn, or starts its turn there. Yeah. So on your turn. There we go. Yeah, so it will take the damage on. They will take the damage on their turns. And then Asturias is gonna fly forward 20 feet.
I almost imagine it like they just, like, the wings lift their feet up off the ship as it, like, races underneath them, right? Like, you drop yourself
Yeah,
back
like I
down,
don't
like,
move, the ship moves.
Yep.
And then I'm like, yeah. And then for their bonus action, they will turn into the starry form of an archer, prepared to shoot stars at the moon glowing, the moonlight illuminated flying beasts behind us.
Okay,
Let's do
excellent.
I am the stars. I am the moon.
I am the moon. Okay.
Yeah, together, me and the Badman. We
How
are
many
the
how many
night.
moons did this planet have before this?
Yeah. There were
That's
only
no
2.
moon.
Astrologists on this planet are like, what the heck is that? That makes no sense.
There were
Astrologists.
only 2, but now. Okay, cool. So this brings us to 14, where the definitely not Sturges will go. Oh, yeah, great. Cool. Awesome.
Just outside of range? Just outside of range?
Nope, they all have 40-foot move speed, so they come
I
like
should have moved more.
they come zooming.
It was a
in.
genuine cool, not a sarcastic cool.
I can never tell.
Meanwhile, these 3 will make Constitution saving throws. 1, 2, and 3. Oh yeah, those are 2 big failures. Why don't you roll
Yeah.
some damage, Asturias?
DC really 12? Am I that crappy?
Your proficiency modifier is a 2, and your intelligence modifier should be a 3, I think, or your wisdom.
My wisdom is a 3, yeah.
Yeah, so it should be 13.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Yeah, and that's what it says on my sheet. I don't know why it dumped a 12 in the chat. Okay. Moonbeam. Go. The only level I can cast it at, please.
It will get better. The moonbeam.
Oh, that's so sad.
It is pretty sad. As the
That's
moonbeam
really
is
tragic.
searing away at these couple, though, these two are just destroyed by the light of it. But the third one manages to evasively kind of come flying out. Gosh, what did it have? 40 feet.
That's not fair. Rich should let you re-roll your first two.
I know.
A 3 and a 2 on 2 d10s. That's brutal.
I know. I should really roll it again.
Oh, wow. They all got so close.
Yeah, they sure did. So two of them from the
moon.
Two of them from the northern pack come zooming in, and they drop down, darting at the professor. So we'll make 2 attacks for Reginald. 10 and 23.
Yeah, one of those hits.
The 10, right? So we see this thing come zooming down, and you see that it's got this long, sharp looking proboscis that it just plunges into your shoulder, Professor. And you suffer 6 points of piercing damage as it begins draining your blood, attaching itself to you. Yep, sick. All the rest of this stuff matters later. So this one is attached to Reginald. Meanwhile,
I will make a concentration check on my Earthbind.
Oh, yeah, go for it.
Oh, I'm going to have to do that too. That's sad.
These two are going to attack
just barely.
He did just barely make it. Asturias, 7 and 10. Those both miss?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'm back with my wings. Saying, no, stay away from me.
This one here, I know. This one here is thoroughly attached to Asturias, drinking the professor's blood.
Ew.
Yeah, that's fine. If they're still alive at the beginning of next turn, then we'll deal with it. Jake, you're up on 10.
Jake moves to here and fires his bow at the one that's sucking on the professor.
Oh, I did not consent to this.
Not cool, man.
That big critical one energy.
Rolls today, guys.
Why does this seem familiar to Jake?
I think I'll lead into it. Go ahead and roll damage as an arrow plunges into your back, Professor. This is brutal.
The wizard.
You guys watch as Jake raises the bow, and you hear the echoing voice of Lux up from out of the cargo bay, evasive maneuvers, and the ship pitches, and I think Jake just slips ever so slightly. The arrow hammers into your shoulder, Reginald. You take 9 points of piercing damage. This just got way more dangerous as we've entered PvP.
Can I possibly cast Shield as a reaction?
Yes. Yeah,
I'm doing it. I'm casting Shield as a reaction.
You can, as you hear the twanging of the bowstring and you're looking at this scourge that's on your shoulder. I think you see Jake fire and you're like, oh! That's fine. I just want to burn your resources, be they hit points or spell slots. I care little. Jake, that was your action. Bonus action, any other movement?
Jake will get a little bit closer.
Okay, sounds good. With that, they go on 7. I know they're off the initiative tracker. That one was underground. So
you killed the initiative one.
I know. How dare I?
I was wondering where it went. and when it went.
Okay, first of all, it's going to make a Constitution saving throw to deal with this.
Moonbeam.
Moon.
Oh.
18. It makes its saving throw, so it only takes 2 points of radiant damage.
Excuse me.
No problem.
Sad.
As it comes like sailing up next to the ship, like, and yeah, unfortunately, it was not able to get a dive, but it's gonna chomp out and take a bite, I think, for Asturias. 23.
Yeah.
Yeah, these enormous, like, beak-like jaws, like, chomp down on your right arm, Asturias, for 13 points of piercing damage. As, like, this row of this row of, like, razor-sharp, needle-like little teeth kind of shred your arm, and
Got
it
a needle
chomps
tooth.
onto you. I know, really, right? Hold on a second. That was 40 feet of its movement. It has flyby attack, at which point it just like pitches up and like pumps its wings twice, the wind like blowing your hair and your cloak gusting around. So it's here, but in fact it has ascended and is now like 40 feet up above the ship, kind of trailing with you. With that, Rhea, you're up on 3.
So it's 40 feet out of range of the ship?
We could say it's like 30 feet above the ship. It's right at 30 feet. That's fine.
So, like, if I have a spell that has 30 feet range, I can...
You could hit it, but you're going to have to, like, run right up next to Jake, right?
Okay. I would like to cast Animal Friendship.
Okay.
On that. So Rhea pulls out, like, a little piece, maybe of the whale meat. Actually, out of Jake's shell. A little bit of whale meat.
Got rid of it.
There's a little bit, like, clinging on the edge.
Yeah. And it has to make a wisdom saving throw. And let me just see, is there... Yeah, I could get two. I could get one of the little ones too, because if I cast it at level 2, I can do it on 2. And so my DC, my spell save is 15.
Oh, wow. Ray with the big stats. Okay, so it's going to make a wisdom saving throw as you, like, whip out this chunk of whale meat off the edge of Jake's shell and, like, are dangling it up in the air. You, like, call out a prayer to Clancy. Here's its wisdom save. Along with which one of the surges? Oh, brutal.
The one that is maybe chomping on Asturias.
Oh, it fails. Yeah.
Okay. So
I think one of them is like turns looking at you, Ray. Clearly charmed. 1 over.
But not the big one. Okay.
Nope.
All right. That is an action. For a bonus action, if it doesn't want to be my friend, then it's gonna meet my actual friend, my turtle, Chompers. Spiritual weapon.
This is narratively incredible.
It really is. Fantastic.
A 20.
Yeah, that hits.
Gosh,
13.
Chompers is a beast. I mean, not
Chompers.
technically.
Somebody can do something.
He's a spiritual weapon, but like he's in the figure of a beast. That's crazy.
Not technically, but yeah, he is in fact a beast. With that, the glimmering form of Chompers appears in the air, hovering next to this thing, and just like chomps as he is wont to do, quite dramatically and with powerful effect. Rhea, that's your action, bonus action, and your
back,
movement.
Yeah, that's my turn.
Excellent. That is your turn. Professor, you're up on 23.
Oh,
There
boy.
is a scourge attached to you, sucking your blood.
Yeah, I think that the basically he's not about this, to say the least. And I think you at the end of his nose, where the pince nez, where the little reading glasses are, you see them wiggle a little bit, and he lifts up his chin, and out of his bow tie fly 3 magic missiles that leave and then come back and attack the Sturges nearby. Do I need to pick a location for each one?
Sure. Yeah. You tell
Like in
me who you want to
advance?
hit.
Or
Yep.
like, can I go one at a time and see like
You
if
should
it kills
pick them in advance. Yeah, this is me being old dungeon master of like you should tell me where you want them to go before they hit.
That's fine. You know what? We're gonna spread the wealth. I'm just gonna go the two right next to me and then the one right next to Asturias. Boom, boom, boom.
Got it.
So I gotta animate roll for each of these. Okay.
Poof.
Boom, boom, boom. 3, a 5, and it's just descending order, top, middle, bottom.
Got it. With that, the one in front of you is blasted apart, like off your shoulder. Your own blood kind of like spraying into the air away from you as you pop it with the magic missile, and it's destroyed. The one that is like hovering to the side of you also blasted away. These
Crap.
magic missiles doing work effectively. And then the one in front of Asturias, just like blasted, goes flying off the edge of the ship. Just like that, they are wiped out. Professor, that was your action. You have movement and a bonus action.
Got one. Yeah, I think the professor is now going to oh boy, he does not have a bonus action. He's going to move. Oh boy, where can he move that's helpful? Because this thing can fly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think he's just gonna chill right there. I think that's where we're gonna leave it. And I'm gonna presume that the other, he's gonna like peek off the edge of the ship to make sure that the other one has like now fully descended and is like left in the dust behind the dragonfly and is out of range. The earthbound one. Yeah.
Awesome. Sick. Pia, thank you for the sub. So, as you come like darting back along the edge of the ship, having just dispatched a pile of these Sturges, Asturias, you are up.
Okay. I have to deal with this little guy. What does the green dot
No.
mean?
No,
Oh,
he's charmed.
charmed. Okay. So I don't have to deal with this little guy.
It's actually your friend now. So.
Yeah, great. I have a little tiny dinosaur friend. Okay.
It's much more like a
Are they
gigantic mosquito, actually, this one.
Are they dinosaurs?
Mosquito. I don't know.
I
A
prefer to
tiny
think of them
dinosaur
as
is a
winged
giant
reptiles.
lizard, but that's neither here nor there. That's somewhere else.
A flying
I
lizard
can
from prehistoric
move it.
times.
I can use an action to move the beam up to... Oh, amazing. That's my action. That's wonderful. Let's do that. Because then I can still use my bonus action to be
That's
an
good,
archer.
Brad.
Okay. Dink, please move the moonbeam over the big
Da-dink.
guy.
Da-dink.
I do not like the relationship I have with mosquitoes right now.
Wow.
Yeah. Brenna asked the question, and that's
I am happy. I have a one
Yeah,
charmed
we have
little
a
mosquito.
mosquito right here, apparently.
That's
That's too
Okay.
good.
So that's where that's going. And then so Asturias is harnessed to the power of the moon and is moving it through the sky to chase after the big mosquito and or tiny dinosaur and or giant lizard, depending on what realm you're in. And they will try and shoot it with a starry arrow. $16?
16 hits.
Yeah!
Nice.
Shoot the stars!
Oof. As this
That feels good.
starry bolt hammers into this thing, and it's like screeching in pain. Asturias, that's your action. Bonus action. You want to move?
Nah, I think I'm great.
Okay. This little sturge goes. I think that it's like it like flies over to you, Grace, and it's like hovering in front of you, like. It's bigger than Joffrey. It's about the size of Waffle, except it's like a horrific giant mosquito.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Cool.
Okay. Jake, you're up on 10.
Okay. How far? Okay. Jake is going to cast Hail of Thorns.
Oh, wow.
As a bonus action.
Got it.
He is going to attack the big thing, pterodactyl,
Go for it.
With his longbow.
$18 hits.
Okay, so bear with me here.
Mm-hmm.
The arrow itself does 6 points of piercing damage.
Mm-hmm.
It has to make a strength saving throw as the swarm of bees surrounds it and tries to move it 15 feet horizontally toward the sturge.
Oh, nice. Okay. You want to just drop that in the chat for me of whatever it is? But yes, here's a strength save. 20. He
Never
makes
mind
it.
then. But yes, he was going to be doing the second bullet.
Got it. Yep.
Because he was hoping that the Hail of Thorns would then also hit the sturge. You could question the order of operations there, but when the when the thing hits him at the same time, he also has to make a Dex saving throw
for the Hail of Thorns.
For the Hail of Thorns,
19 makes it.
He's so dexterous and strong.
He takes half damage.
Yep. So another D10.
So 4.
Got it. 4 plus the 6 of the arrow is 10 altogether, right? So we see Jake like fire this arrow, and it like plunges into this thing, and like all these thorns come like surging out of it, thorny vines like lashing around it, the moonbeam searing down on it, and I think that just like that, it's like its wings fold, it crumples, the moonbeam like searing and burning it as it like just tumbles away behind you, splashing into the ocean just like that.
Amazing.
I take it I won't be able to retrieve that arrow.
Nope. I mean, we've established you can't swim.
Actually, that's our next quest.
Yeah.
That arrow.
We've established you can't swim. Otherwise, I would say you could certainly try. But
I can make an athletics check. I think it's just the assumption that a turtle would have a swim speed. He does not.
Mm-hmm. We should go. We should continue. I can only keep that one away for another minute. So,
don't worry, evasive maneuvers.
We still have a sturge, don't we?
Can I cast Speak with Animals?
You sure can. Yeah.
I'll cast that.
I missed that part.
And I'd like to tell this. What is it? What's your name? Who are you?
I think that it's just like does not understand what his name.
Yeah, no name. Okay, well, go and tell all the other little mosquito guys that you know. Tell all the ones you know that you're only alive because of Clancy. Okay, you go tell them, and they should not attack any of us, especially turtles, but the rest of us either. No, don't attack us. Okay, you can go. Bye.
And I think that like it's just like I am Clancy. I understand. Like turns kind of like flying away from the ship, you know.
Okay.
Worth
the spell slot.
So that is how it starts. I see.
Fast forward 1,000 years, there's this whole new culture.
Exactly. Clancy
We
the
worship
Sturge.
Clancy the Sturge. Give us your blood. And so with that, like the dragonfly is like weaving over the tops of the waves. I think that the minute like passes, you feel the magic of your earthbind kind of wash away, Professor. And perhaps in the distance you would see this giant, not dinosaur, trying to extricate itself from the waves. It's really tough to take off when you have no leverage off the ground. I don't know if any of you guys have ever seen bald eagles flying around in British Columbia, but it's quite a sight. Anyway.
What a specific reference.
I know. It's a very
hyper-specific.
Not
I've
British
seen
Columbia,
bald eagles
no.
flying in British Columbia. I guess we'll have to ask Melissa next week.
We will. That's why it's so specific.
Not British Columbia, so there's no way I'll be able to understand what you're talking about.
Exactly.
No bald eagles anywhere else.
Nope.
And so with that,
British Columbia. I'm sorry. I've been to Latin America, right? Colombia.
Yeah.
Oh, Colombia. Yeah, all the bald eagles there. It's very different. It's
no,
muy
they
different.
love to swim down there in Colombia. And so I think that with that, the dragonfly is kind of like zooming across above the surface of the water, a solid 50 or 60 feet. I think you see some shapes of like more of these flying creatures in the distance, but they do not appear to be pursuing you as they kind of wheel off. But it's clear there are beings on this planet that are dangerous. But yeah. Before you, what are you guys doing? I guess in these moments as you're like up on the deck, right? About a minute has passed. Danger appears to be like falling out of sight.
I will stay stars for my full 10 minutes that I can be stars.
Okay, cool.
Can we, is it possible, like, do we see land in the distance is one question. And once we have a heading, can we get up into the clouds so that we're not
so vulnerable?
Prey.
Very likely you can. Rhea, Jake, what are you two up to here in this beat?
Jake apologizes to the professor for shooting him with his arrow. And then he retrieves the arrow. Oh, wait, no, but he cast shield. He did cast shield.
Worry not. I happen to be focused on a creature sucking my blood, so I was aware, and
I was trying to help.
I understand.
Can relate.
I've been there.
I think that you guys do spot land in the distance. You see like what looks like a couple of like distinctive features against this like continually like wave stricken like ocean, right? There's a few like heaping sort of indications of ground, of islands, and Lux begins to like pull you up. You trail along through the clouds, cutting the clouds kind of like washing over you, moisture clinging to your clothes, beating up on your shell, Jake, and on your armor, Rhea.
Wait, I've read about this one. Land ahoy! Yes? Did I do it?
Or ho.
Haha, righto. Yeah, okay, sorry.
It's no
I
problem.
love that, like, the professor's around water, so all of a sudden he's, like, trying to get nautical.
I mean, you know, I wanted to be a pirate, so I had to do my best.
Who's I? Not Troy.
Aye. No, I know, I'm playing.
Yeah, we have Troy. How Troy feels about pirates.
Yeah, I know. It's well established.
How far off the surface over the surface of the water are we?
You were kind of like about 50 feet, but at this point you're further up as like you've pulled up into kind of the cloud cover.
Jake was going to like ghost water skiing. Okay.
Okay. I'm fixing cameras. I don't know why that happened. Okay, so as you guys like zoom on for another like 2 or 3 minutes here, I think that like Lux brings the ship down out of the clouds, and what you could see underneath you is what looks like this twisted like mass of kind of like metal. There's a few what look like islands down beneath you, and it appears almost like there were structures or buildings or something of that nature here at one point on this handful of like kind of islands that are scattered around next to each other, but they're all like covered in what amounts to almost like a garbage heap. It's this massive pile of like broken, twisted metal, of beams like bent and wrapped, rust kind of clinging to them, like just huge pieces of like steel folded over on top of itself. This place looks like mostly like rubble and destruction and devastation.
No sign of life, like no human life.
Why don't you guys make perception checks?
Yay! Oh,
Well,
bad
they've
perception.
certainly rolled out the red carpet. Yeah, I felt that one coming.
Oh no! You can't do guidance. Can I?
I felt
No,
that one
can't.
coming.
Well,
I'm so perceptive.
Jake, Asturias, as you all are peering around down there, there's definitively no signs of what looks like human life or even cobbled life for that matter, right? One of these like kind of islands appears to be much bigger than the others, and it almost looks like there's some type of like most of a structure kind of left jutting up out of the sort of eastern side of it, as it were. And I think that from your distance, you know what looks like the sparkling reflection of like color, of like this sort of hue of color on the ground amidst the rubble and the destruction. This like reflection of like green and purple, of blue and yellow and red. This splash amidst the kind of rust and steel of the rest of this wreck.
Does it look like it's been ravaged by time and nature, or like violence and destruction?
Both. Like it looks like violence and destruction would have created this, right? But time and nature have like swallowed it up.
Okay.
This was not like recently something else, you know, that much is very evident to you.
Does it look like there's a like, and when our ship, when the Dragonfly lands, can it just?
Yep.
Like
You have like
helicopter,
vertical
yeah.
takeoff. Yep. I want you to imagine it moving like legit just like a dragonfly, you know? So it could do all kinds of like very crazy maneuverable stuff.
I know a lot more about boats than.
Could we attach to
dragonflies.
another dragonfly? I see that a lot.
Yes. You could, but that's for Dragonfly After Dark, yeah.
Okay.
We can only do that in the spring. And so yeah. What do you guys want to do? I guess is you're like peering over the edge, and I think Lux has got you like kind of circling over this group of like smaller islands. This one is like clearly much bigger than the others. There's a few like smaller islands, and it looks like almost like there's more rubble kind of sprawling out from around them, like under the surface of the water, right?
would does it appear as though the seas have risen up to cover the rubble, or is it like the rubble blasted out into the water?
I think you know enough about tides that you would think like, oh, it's probably the tide is up, but it's both those things, right? Like there's definitely rubble like spread out, right? You could like imagine, I think you can like reconstruct that like some of these things might have been structures, columns, vertical buildings that have fallen and sprawled out across the ground, but that likely the tide is up high. Yeah.
And sorry, you maybe mentioned this before, but I missed it. does it appear that these things have fallen through disuse and disrepair, or as if there were some type of explosion or catastrophic destruction to start it?
Yeah, it definitely looks like destruction occurred here. It's not just like abandonment and time that has broken them. There was some type of violence that occurred to like create this kind of chaos and havoc. And then time has lapsed since, right? Is the gist of it.
Ray's ready to go out, but before she goes out, she's gonna like pop into Doctor and just be like, "Looks like there's so much scrap out there. If I find," she's probably like working on something. Like, if I find anything cool, I'll bring it back right for you.
Oh yeah, I think Doc's like, thanks. That's great. Oh yeah. Look at all that. Oh yeah.
So much stuff.
Oh yeah.
Screws and oh yeah.
Waffles,
I don't know
like,
anything about inventing, but dude.
Yeah, I think Waffles like dink, 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 like up against the glass. You know what I mean? Like, dink, dink. Yeah.
Is if we can, if we're not like on a time clock, I think Reginald would get the orb and see. Does the orb have visual references or just like text?
Yeah, it's got some visual references for sure. As you like,
are
dig
there
through
any
it, there's
images
imagery.
of Huiroto?
Yes, I think as you now have like become a bit accustomed to like moving through the orb, and a lot of it is much more like intellectual than it is mechanical. You can like kind of touch the orb and whatever, but it's more about thinking your way through it. And so I think that you're able to like focus on Cerelia, and it brings up the information, and you start like focusing in on Wiroto, and you see like the folder kind of open, as it were, and there are some images of what look like these like tall metal buildings. You see like a big metal landing pad with like a number of ships docked on it. There are things, there are no dragonflies per se, but they're much smaller ships than the type of things are out there in the world nowadays. Some of them look like traditional nautical vessels. Others seem much more mechanical in nature. Others more designed and with this sort of like natural homage that the dragonfly has. But yeah, you see what looks like this archipelago of like these islands and metal buildings, towers, multi-story buildings, kind of flying buttresses of like metal and like ornate like architecture and stuff. Yeah.
Somebody got to update the orb.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I guess that's our job. So
Well,
get on that.
we're just a bunch of glorified Wikipedia editors.
Basically, it sounds like it. Yeah.
Oh, that's so sad.
Yeah, we're getting stuck in the talk section.
Oh no.
Is there anything in the images that appears to be like a town center or like the largest building?
Yeah, I think as you like, we might even see you looking from like the images like projecting out of the orb. I think it creates like the idea of like almost like a minor illusion that's kind of like projecting up out of it in front of you, right? And I think we see you like looking from the image out the like window to like these islands that are outside, and you get the impression this one like largest kind of central island, it had this towering kind of blue structure with this. It was like a metal kind of alloy with this bluish glow to it. And as you see this one, like the remnants of what appear to be this ruined, smashed building, the rust kind of clinging to the edges, you can catch like that shade of blue in the alloy of the metal itself. And you're like, oh yeah, that was it right there.
Reggie, are you going to keep reading the orb? Because it seems like it's outdated. You should go get some hands-on experience. We should go out.
Of course.
Go out
Can we
outside.
go to the sparkly part?
It seems like that is that or was that, and yes, outdated books are a thing I'm familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the sparkly part.
Can we open the back? Head out?
Sure. Lux is able to like kind of bring you down. I think that the area over on like the right side of it, the big mass, is very jagged and kind of uneven. But as you get into like this kind of arcing bend on the left side of it, where it's stretching out, like Lux is kind of bringing you in there. And so yeah, as the four of you stand in the cargo bay and like the deck like drops down from the back. Lux is like, I'm gonna bring it back up and keep it around. I'm afraid if this one of these waves comes in too strong, we'll crack a wing. That's the last thing we need. One of you should take that sending stone.
Crack a wing. Is that another a metaphor?
I think Doc's like,
no, I think that was for real.
Yeah, Doc's probably like, no, we really need the wings.
Yeah.
Yeah, wings are good.
Someone take one of the stones.
I guess I can.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. And so I think that the ship like is kind of like hovering over the water for a minute, right? We see like this ripple, the waves being pushed down from like the down force of the four interlocked wings on the sides of the Dragonfly as the four of you kind of step down off the ramp onto like the slick rusted metal of this wreckage. And as you do so, and like probably like Doc is standing in the back corridor and like calls back to Lux like, all right, they're good. And you hear Lux yelling back at you like, all right, be careful, you call me, we'll be right in the clouds. And like the ship begins to like pull away as the ramp starts to like close up.
Taylor in the chat says you have to be louder when you're being Lux.
I was louder. I'm trying to preserve your ears. That's perfection. She said, okay, I got it. And so, yeah, the four of you like climb down off. You're standing on like this wreckage that abounds all around you as the ship kind of like zooms off a little bit and then raises itself up, vanishing into the cloud bank above.
Sparkly bit?
Okay, so the sparkly part.
Can we move?
Beach vacation.
Carefully?
Sure. You can move. It's like definitely like difficult terrain, right?
Unless you can fly.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Bye.
That's too true. It's
just
curious.
like all the way over there. We'll catch up.
Yeah. I'm hanging out over by the sparkly bit.
A fearball, a turtle, and a
hippopotamus.
I'm just like romping around in this metal island. Yeah.
Come on.
I think in particular Reginald is like doing the thing where it's like steps in and then like wobble and then like, you know, footing is in the trying to gentle walk, but then water's kind of like splashing up and you see him just like kind of cast like prestidigitation or whatever and just be like keep his feet dry. Yeah. It's no bueno. It's not
fantastic.
Good.
I love it.
It's the dexterity of 0, right? You know?
As established. As you all are moving, what's everybody's passive perceptions?
9.
15.
Ooh.
It's actually good.
13.
Better than Rascalin's. 15.
Okay. So as you guys are moving here, Jake, why don't you move yourself a little bit to wherever it is you think you are?
Oh boy.
Asturias, where are you in relation to everything else? Like, how high up are you?
Where'd you go? Not far, because I want to see what this sparkly stuff is down here. So probably only like, just like flying enough to like not have to walk on the stuff.
Okay.
But not like high, which is probably not tactically a good idea, but it's narratively correct.
Got it. You're like tooling along here and you start to like lower yourself a little bit. You're like looking down at the sparkly bits. You see what's clearly like a grate, this metal grate in what is like the first bit of actual stone earth of the ground here. But I think that as you're coming, a lot of you don't none of you notice it, even with your good 15 passive perceptions, as suddenly out from like the gaps of the rubble next to you, these two freaking arms like come snapping out into the air to grab a hold of you, Asturias.
I'm like 20 feet from the grate.
You are 20 feet from the grate. Oops.
How long are these arms?
They are 10 feet long, and they're coming from up out of like this building where the wreckage is next to you.
Oh, I'm looking at... Okay.
Yeah, trouble is happening. 20 and a 23. I think they both hit you.
Oh, no. Okay.
Which is never ideal. So you take 8 points of bludgeoning damage from the first one and 11 from the second one as these two hands reach out, grabbing a hold of you. You see this humanoid looking figure that has this long, kind of almost like cone-like head and this like maw of vicious teeth, and its arms are stretched out like they're made of rubber. At the end of said arms are like these kind of ferocious looking, like almost like spiny mouths of their own. Yeah, hold on one second.
Okay, well, Asturias can't see anything because Asturias is unconscious.
Asturias is pulled out of the air. And this is what you see looking at you. And from this point, we'll all roll initiative, including 0 hit point Asturias.
Oh, great. Great. This looks great.
We got this. 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 I'm just going to keep saying it until I believe it. We got this.
We got this. We got this.
Story of my life.
And so you all see this thing like come like surging up out of like the crevices of like the wreckage all around you and snatch hold of Asturias out of the air, where they like just grab them and like pull them down. The like teeth at the end of these disgusting hands on the arms, like just grabbing into your poor tiefling friend. Brutal.
At least Asturias goes pretty
great
fast.
Initiative for an unconscious person.
Okay. They go really, really late. Yeah, essentially that was its opportunity to surprise you. And boom, with that, Professor, you are up. What would you like to do?
I cast Chromatic Orb at 2nd level.
Oh, go for it.
Put them down.
$19 hits.
Wow. Those dice flew in like aggressively in the animation on my screen. It was like intense.
I threw them aggressively. I am very not happy.
Yeah, I'm not happy either.
You're not. 18 points of damage. What kind of chromatic orb?
That's a great question. It was not fire. It would have been lightning.
Right. So we see the like snapping, sparking orb of electricity fire out of the professor's decoder wheel, hammering into this thing as it clings to the side of the wreckage, like pulling Asturias back in towards it. And with that, Asturias is dropped unceremoniously, bong, into the like metal of this thing as it's like and like just rolls off the edge of it, like crashing to the ground out of sight. Now my roll 20 is fighting me. It's really not happy today. That, Professor, was your action. You have movement and a bonus action.
I'm going to move as close to Asturias as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm assuming is difficult terrain, so I get 3 squares.
Yeah.
Yep, that's it. That's my turn.
Okay.
I imagine they kind of like released and like slid down this like metal siding or whatever.
Uh-huh. Yep. They just kind of like thing like fell and ended up like sliding into like this chute, right? There's this one like twisted sheet of metal, and I think we just see Asturias like slide down into the bottom of it, slumped in like the small pool of water that's kind of sitting there, as it were. I forgot.
You betrayed me.
Terrible. Professor, that was your turn. Jake, you're up on 18.
Is this length of metal difficult terrain?
Yeah, sure, I'll give it to you. That part's not.
Okay. So Jake will go 20 feet.
Mm-hmm.
And then if he's dashing, and he's quite dashing, he's got 40 more feet to go, so difficult terrain of 20 feet.
Mm-hmm.
He'll get to... Because he can't see the choker, right?
He saw it like pop up out of the shadows,
right.
grab Asturias, and then it got blasted, and he doesn't see it anymore. Nope.
Right. So he has no targets.
Where's the other one? Aren't there two?
It was
No, it had 2 arms.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, he's going to basically take... Since he can't see a foe, he's going to double move.
Got it. Okay, Jake, that was your turn. Movement, dash, bonus action. Anything else?
Can he, like, as he's moving, can he just kind of just take out his warhammer?
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
Asturias, you're up. I'm going to need a death saving throw.
Yeah, chill. Super cool Tuesday night in space.
Welcome to space. In
All good.
space, we die.
Everything worked out unexpected.
You have made your death saving throw. That's one successful one. Rhea, you're up on 13.
Okay, so I'll move. I can move 3. Can move 3, right? Because it's difficult terrain. And I'll cast Healing Word on Asturias.
Thank
Got
you.
the cleric. We got the cleric.
For
Very
9
useful.
HP.
Wow. Awesome healing word. Clancy!
Clancy,
Is that the
save
word?
Asturias. Please. And that's a bonus action, so I think I will also dash and move 3 more spaces. No, 2. 3. Yeah.
3. Yeah. 3.
Yeah, I have more movement than a total. Yeah. That's my turn.
Rhea, that was your turn on 4. Meanwhile, you guys see from the shadows arms dart out as this one grabs for you, Jake.
No.
It's got advantage, but you've got a good armor class. 23 hits.
23 hits.
Okay, so you get hit for 10 points of damage, 5 bludgeoning, 5 piercing, as one of these like disgusting maws like lashes out, grabbing a hold of you from right next to you. Oops, hold on a second. I know how to roll 20. And one of these chokers like appears hanging underneath the like very piece of metal that you're on. His 2 arms come like lashing out towards you. So he grabs you and is holding you. And then, he's got, what's he got going on? Aberrant quickness. He's going to use his aberrant quickness and he's going to try to like just grab you again. Make an extra pair of attacks. These are not at advantage because he's no longer at stealth. So 15 and 1, those both miss. Meanwhile, Professor, from up here, one of them lunges out and basically is going to do the same for you, these miserable things. So here's 2 attacks against you with advantage from stealth. 19 and a 22.
Wow.
Pressure's on.
Sorry.
To shield or not to shield?
Not to shield.
That is the question.
No shield. I take them both.
Not to shield. That's 8 points of piercing damage. 8 or bludgeoning and piercing, right? It like smashes into you and then it's got these teeth digging into your gift skin. And you're grappled and then it's going to try to hit you with the second one for 10. So that's 18 altogether. Brutal. It's going to save its aberrant quickness.
Wait, why is he grappled?
Because they hit him. He's not a creature. If it's large or smaller, it's grappled.
Oh, because what I'm seeing is it says if it's a critical hit, it's grappled.
No,
Oh,
critical
also
hit
can't
show.
breathe or speak.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, then it
Yeah,
grabs
that
you
could have
around
been
the
bad.
face. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to save its aberrant quickness.
Sure.
And it's at this point that I think a lot of you see like an octopus come like climbing up onto the metal from behind, like starting to like pull itself along.
It's fine. I can talk to that one. It's fine.
It's fine. It's very slow on land, though, and it rolled horrible initiative. So Jake, quite fortunately, managed to run away from it. Professor, you're up on 19.
This thing is attached to me.
Yes, it's holding you with these like two disgusting tentacle arms.
Grappling just means you can't move, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can still attack and do everything.
Indeed, you can.
I hate to do this, but I think I have to. You'll tell me if this doesn't work correctly, though. But I would bonus action Misty Step to leave the choker behind.
Oh, definitely works.
Yeah. So bonus action Misty Step, using my last second level spell slot. There you go, Rich. Well done. And where does he Misty Step to is the question. I think he's gonna go behind friendly lines. So I think he's basically gonna go over to the glitter.
Okay.
And then as an action, Jake is attached to one of these. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. The one underneath him is holding him.
Well, yes. I can't use all my spells, so I think I'm gonna have to. I think Vicious Mockery, and I think so Reginald just like disappears and then poof appears, and he looks down at the dead choker, and he says, "You're dead. You're left behind, and you're next," and casts Vicious Mockery. I need a wisdom save.
I think Professor, as you like look down at the dead choker, does the Professor wear shoes?
Yes, of course.
Okay. Yeah,
Yes. I had to think for a second, but of course, yeah.
This is a question I always have with these strange races. You know, we went through it with the Minotaur, with Kurt's Minotaur on Monday night. Like, do you have feet or hooves? But so underneath
very sensible shoes. Very sensible.
Underneath the soles of your very sensible space traveler's shoes, I think you hear like the crunching of glass as you're peering down around, and like this like the sparkling colors that are down here beneath you. It's clearly like a shattered, blasted bit of colored glass that is reflecting because of the kind of moisture that's on it, the water having like washed over it. It's kind of mixed in amongst like the pebbles and the rocks and the other kind of metal debris around it. But you realize like there's all this like shattered colored glass down here that you're standing on. And I think you in particular have a moment where you remember the image of Hiroto from the orb, of this like big blue gleaming tower with these magnificent stained glass windows in it, right? Professor, that was your turn. He makes his wisdom saving throw, taking no psychic damage. That's it, right?
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna move. I think we're just gonna let it gonna happen as it happens.
Got it. Jake, you are up.
Jake is going to swing his warhammer at the thing that is grappling him.
Okay.
20, or just 19.
Got it. No archery. That hits, though. Nonetheless.
What?
I said it hits.
12 bludgeoning.
Ooh.
Oh.
question.
Mm-hmm.
So as he swings, the bees come out of his shell and swarm the hammer. One of the things that the bees can do is, although Jake's movement is 0, the bees can move him 5 feet.
Mm-hmm.
Does that end up being like some sort of opposed strength check with the choker? Like, how would
Bees.
This is very funny. I don't know. Yeah. Grappled creature's speed becomes 0, and it can't benefit from any bonuses to its speed. I think that the bees can just move you because it does, in fact, have a reach of 10 feet. So even if they're only moving you 5 feet directly away from it, it's still grappling you, and you don't have your own speed, but the bees can move you.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
That wouldn't make much sense to do then. So instead, the bees, when the head of the hammer strikes the choker in the ribs, where the ribs would normally be, the bees then kind of spiral down the hammer and start stinging the choker.
Okay.
For an additional 6 points of piercing damage.
Wow, the bees like swarming around the end of the hammer, and as they like assault around your like blow, the attack becomes fatal, and the choker's like those bees are like swarming around its face. Its grip on you grows like weaker and weaker until it just staggers back, falling away from you. The bees kind of circling back towards you.
I'm just gonna pretend that he's allergic. Jake, I'm assuming Jake sees the octopus kind of like.
Yeah.
Jake will turn and guard Rhea.
Okay.
I did tell that choker that it was next.
Indeed, you did.
Correct.
Being correct is one of my favorite things to be.
Asturias, you are up. You're laying flat on your back, your wings beneath you in this puddle of water and this big kind of like metal like plate that's twisted and folded under your back. What would you like to do?
Okay, well, I'm gonna get up, and I'm very embarrassed. It's classic. Asturias is very easily embarrassed and very prideful. It's a dangerous combination. So they feel like they gotta make up for that show, and they're gonna come because they haven't done anything yet. Gonna come over here to the one that was left behind, and try and attack it with primal savagery.
Oh, primal savagery.
Primal savagery.
23 hits.
Yeah.
Yes.
You bite it? Is this you biting it,
with
everything
like the
again?
fangs, yeah.
Asturias biting things was the least expected revelation of this campaign. You take a bite out of crime as you chop down into this disgusting aberration. Its skin is very sort of spongy and rubbery, and you like chomp down in as it like grabs for your face. You like wheel around, biting into the forearm, taking a huge piece of flesh out. The blood kind of like almost acidic in your mouth, and it's like recoils its arm back. Asturias, that was your action.
I don't think I'm gonna turn into stars yet because I feel like we're moving so fast.
It's the 4-person group.
I can cast Healing Word on myself.
Indeed, you can.
I think I keep telling other people to do. I'm gonna do that.
What's your healing word? Did you shout out stars?
Stars! Power of the stars! Yeah. Okay.
You get 4 health back as you call for the stars to heal you.
Yep.
Mysterious, that was your action. That's your bonus action. Is that it?
Yeah. I can't really leave, so.
Very
Rhea.
specifically the way that Russell Crowe says stars in the Les Mis movie, right? That's what we're going for.
God.
That's
I would
that's
never
where my
say
mind went,
anything the
actually.
way Russell Crowe says anything. In
Stars.
He caught a lot of shit for that.
It's no bueno. It's no bueno.
It's not. It's not great. Hugh did good though. He did good.
I think Asturia seems to be. Yeah, they're going to go next. So I think we'll cast Guiding Bolt on. We'll try and shoot that one, the Choker. Guiding Bolt. 21.
Oh, that is.
Oh,
What does it look like, Rhea, as you obliterate this choker?
yeah. It also looks like a turtle. Obviously, it's just a bolt, like a turtle, and it like just moves much faster than Chompers. It's much smaller, but just obliterates this Choker. Yeah.
Boof! It like lifts it up off the ground, throwing it back Asturias as the choker like crashes down into the wreckage beneath. We hear like metal like kind of shifting underneath it as its like arms go limp and this sort of just like trail down into the broken wreckage underneath. Rhea, that's your action. You have movement and a bonus action.
Yeah, I know that Jake stood to protect me, but I will move around him and protect him. And
I love this.
Yeah, let's use a spiritual weapon on the octopus. It's gonna attack us, right? It's came up on the shore.
I don't know. It's hard to say.
Yeah.
Is it hard
Is
to
it waving?
say?
Is it waving? You know, did it select
20!
Yeah. Nice.
Chompers, hammers.
Turtle
into
v octopus.
The octopus.
Yeah.
It's
Wasn't
the
that like a
classic
nautical battle?
tale.
I think it was like a Fox special.
A classic story. Is that right? Just 1d8? Yeah, that's right. Okay. Yep. Okay.
That's it.
Chompers lays into this octopus for 9 points of damage, and I think you see it like recoil, its eyes like blinking, its whole color like shifts as it gets like very kind of dark and then shifts red, almost the same tone as Asturias, like the tentacles like coiling in around it. Rhea, that was your action. It's gonna go on 3. I think that with that, now it's mad. Did not like. That guy should not have saved his weird aberration move to attack you guys. It shuffles forward a little bit.
I said, are you sure?
Mm-hmm.
I still had hit points. You could have taken them.
I'm just double checking myself. Okay, cool. Yeah, it actually just shuffles up to like here. Doesn't even need to go that far. I'm gonna put Chompers next to him, and then it lashes out at you for Grace, for Rhea, and one. Oops, I still have it on Whisper, and then also for Jake. 10 is a miss, Rhea. 12 is a miss for you, Jake. Third attack, it's going to go back for Rhea with the terrible turtle. 8, it misses. And these tentacles like lashing out towards you, your shield like intercepting them. One like tries to like grab around you for Jake, and you're just like blocking everything, Rhea.
It's very weird that it assumes that I have the turtle, but that's fine. That's fine.
Yep. Yeah, it's an octopus. You also have a giant.
Yeah,
you have
they're
a
very
giant
smart,
turtle
that's true.
on the middle
That's
of your
true.
tabard too. And you stepped up to protect the other turtle. You just shot a turtle out of your head. Professor, you're up on 19.
Yes. I'm totally prepared. Give me 1 second. On the next attack roll it makes. Now that's not good enough. Not good enough. I will instead. I think you see Reginald kind of stick his hand in between the folds of his coat, of his tweed coat, and then pull it back out, and then kind of flip it open, and then out of his palm, a spectral hand just kind of floats all the way the far distance until it just gets up to the edge of the octopus and just boop, and I cast Chill Touch.
Chill Touch.
On Rich Chiliberto.
Yeah, I love that. That's really unfortunate that it is not a 20, but 21 definitely hits.
Yes.
For anybody out there who doesn't know, these people are all wonderful DMs, and I played in a game with you last week, Troy, where I very specifically used my Tasha subclass ability for wizards to memorize Chill Touch. Because I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to Chill Touch everything tonight. Never even cast.
Yeah. Oh, we're going to Thay, all the undead everywhere that we're going to run into.
I'm going to need this Chill Touch.
I'm sitting here going like, well, I'm not going to have Firebolt if we're going under the water, so I got to get something that I can get with range. Like, all right, Chill Touch, here we go. 4 damage, and if it were capable of rehealing itself, it can't, but I doubt that's the case.
You never know.
You don't know.
Very nicely done, Professor. That's your action. Anything else? Movement bonus?
I think he's just gonna like crunch a little bit on the glass and just like do a little shim shake. I do have a bonus action with which I will check my equipment list and see that I gave my potion of healing to Doc last week. Great. Okay, done. Thank you.
Doc's got all the potions. Doc's like, I imagine Doc with Lux like in the cockpit flying away like, oh, I should have given some of these to them. Jake, you're up on 18.
Because it was able to attack me, because it has reach, does that mean if I attack it with a missile weapon, I'll be at disadvantage?
That's a very good point. Its tentacles are sort of flailing around on top of you. I think technically, yes. That's my first blush answer. Range attacks in close combat. Look at this. I'm here right now. Oh, my God. Oh, no, this is not helpful.
But it's a ranged attack for him.
But the idea, I guess, would be that like the tentacles
feet?
are like in his face, and so he's like trying to shoot it, but they're like all up in him.
Does it say within 5 feet, Troy?
Yeah. I mean, it's your call, but I believe that the rule is within 5 feet of a creature that's not incapacitated, but now D&D Beyond isn't loading. So
I think this came up one time in a Discord game that it does say within 5 feet.
No, I mean, a lot of this stuff is very specific, right? Like, you don't get the flanking with stuff. Range attacks, right? You can make range attacks for range attack, right. Close combat. Yep, 5 feet. Yep, you're good, Kurt. You're good.
Okay. I'm going to attack with a longbow.
Go for it.
22.
Gosh, all these off 20s. 22 hits.
Because I forgot to do.
Hits.
An
arrow hammers into this poor octopus for 12.
Yeah, and then as it fired at him, there was like this lone little bee just clinging onto the arrow. And as the arrow struck the octopus, the little tiny bee stung for 2 points of damage.
I imagine like as soon as the arrow leaves the bow, we go to bee cam, and it's like this, like we're like sailing in on this bee clinging to the arrow, for another 2 points of damage. Excellent. Oops, that was not correct at all. Let me get that fixed again. Okay, Jake, that was your action. Bonus action movement?
Nope.
Okay, Asturias, you're up on 17.
Cool. Asterius has seen the tentacles lashing out, and they don't want to get any closer. They're going to stay where they are and cast Ice Knife at this octopus.
Oh, no.
I love Ice Knife.
We've had 3 straight rolls where with advantage it would have been a nat 20.
I know.
That's
it's
brutal.
Remarkable.
Nothing came up, right? I clicked it, and it just says my name and nothing else.
Yeah, I agree.
That's a new one. I have never
That's
seen
super
that
weird.
before.
It didn't ask me what level I wanted to cast at. It just made a choice, which was to do nothing. Let's try again. You wanna?
Oh, it did another round of nothing.
Yeah, weird.
Weird.
That's very weird. Why don't you just go ahead and roll?
Is it just a straight? I will, but what do I roll?
I'm sorry. What were you casting again?
Ice
now
Knife.
I'm like freaking out about roll 20. It's an attack roll, so it should be 1d20 plus 5 for you.
Oh, plus 5. Okay. Do. This is just the 20.
So 14 hits.
Yeah. Hooray.
That hits. So I believe it's like 1d10 piercing damage and 2d6 cold.
And then a dex save, yeah.
Yep.
Do.
Can I just say B-roll in the chat is an incredible pun?
Yeah, that is actually very much
Like, it
incredible.
needs to be
Very
done.
well
It's
played,
so
Micah.
good. It's so
Yeah.
good.
Here's a D10.
Very well played, Micah.
5
Okay,
piercing
5
damage,
piercing
and it fails the
damage.
dex save, so 2d6 cold damage
Oof.
Oofta.
for another 5.
Still, you see this like ice shard like blast into this octopus and then just like explode, like shredding its flesh as this radius of ice kind of blasts off around it. Asterius, that was your action, movement bonus action?
No, I think I'm hanging out.
Okay. Rhea, you will be up on 13.
Yeah, I got. Well, okay. Chompers. Let's have Chompers attack. First. Oh no.
That's a sad miss. Oh, chompers.
But I'm gonna do my favorite thing and get right up close and inflict wounds.
Oh no! No! Here it comes. 15 hits.
Oh.
21.
Rhea, the specter of death. You reach out, calling on the power of Clancy to inflict wounds upon this many-armed cephalopod. And with that, I just think you hear this, like, very reminiscent of your private conversations with Jake. This gurgling sound, like.
What is it saying?
Like, its legs like wither in, and I think it's just saying like, I meant no harm. Like, its tentacles all like coil in on itself. It goes like ghostly white pale. Its eyelids like droop down over, and it like slops back with this sickening wet kind of like
I think
splat.
I think
as it
Predator was
falls
like,
back on the
Jake, yeah, you heard it say it was gonna murder us and all of our families, right? That's my good thing we got it.
Oh, sparkles.
And so just like that, it is destroyed. Combat's over.
You say that, but Reginald is like,
Yeah, I do it.
which doesn't help him look any better.
Peek around all the
Jake's gonna try to retrieve his arrow.
Sure. He walks over and like yanks it out of this thing. And I think that the one lone bee is like, bzzz, lands on your shoulder, Jake.
He crawls into the shell.
Rhea will touch her turtle pendant as well to regain 1 spell slot.
Oh,
Both
nice.
Spell slots will harness.
That's Clutch your channel divinity.
Yeah.
So yeah, you guys are all like standing here. The octopus defeated, chokers laying dead all over the place. You see this shattered stained glass down on this kind of area next to this toppled steel building.
Does it
Oh my God, I don't have shoes on. It's so dangerous. I gotta be careful around there.
Does it look like it's a broken object or like a broken like stained glass window? Like is it
It's a
curved, is it
window.
curved or flat?
It's flat. It's all like flat little shards of glass, right? It was clearly part of a window, you think.
Can I mend it?
Mm.
You could start, yeah.
Take me forever.
I'm looking for an edge
Every
piece.
6 seconds, a piece of the jigsaw puzzle.
Yeah.
I do think that Reginald would like gingerly attempt to scoop some up so as not to get any slivers of glass in his hand.
Easily done. You're able to get yourself a pouch of like these this myriad of glass shards.
Great. I'll add glass shard to my equipment list.
So
You
there's
never
a,
know.
Is there anything else around down here? Is that grate a thing? Is there
Yeah, so you see this grate that is like right kind of at the base of all this wreckage and stuff. You feel kind of like warm air wafting up from out of it. Yeah, you could see the grate. You see the building itself like next to you is like completely like caved in on itself and tilted over. Holes in it as you're kind of peering into the inside. It doesn't look like there's like space to move around in there. It's twisted in on itself, and there's additional rubble kind of filling the inside of it. Yeah.
I'm
What's everybody else doing? What's
not in a
Astorius doing?
position to go anywhere right now.
oh, do you need more? Do you need healing? Do you need help? I have this healing potion.
Yes,
out.
something would do.
Try that on for size, you know.
Great. Okay. Yeah, I'll take a healing potion. Okay, what's everyone else go? I just need him not to die. Thank you.
I could do cure wounds or healing word, but if you need it.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna cast another healing word on myself.
Let's see. I think it's
Short rests are a thing.
They are.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. You wanna just rest out here on the thing for a bit? For an
Man, I
hour?
would get my wild shape back. Yeah.
Can we call back up to the ship and rest up on the ship, please?
Mhm.
I think that the choker experience is maybe,
Rattled you a
indicative that
little
things
Whoa!
may lie
Excellent
below.
potion.
Okay.
Sorry, I tried to escape out of that. I'm so sorry.
You're fine.
But
Made a mistake.
here's how you know I'm being honest. I will not take that roll because I did not intend to drink that potion.
No problem.
Someone said short rest. I think he gets it up to his lips and then pauses.
Oh, I think if you had drank that would have been would have been so much healing.
Feels very
so,
potent.
Yeah, it smells.
Asturius, you have the sending stone as the professor's like, might we go back to the ship to
Yeah.
rest?
They're gonna like hold it in their hand like they're talking to a little bug and be like, "Hey, could you come get us? We want to go back inside."
I think like Lux's voice like booms back at you like, you just got there. What do you mean?
Can you come get me?
I don't
Yeah.
like it here.
All right, we're turning back around. I'm like,
I don't
think
get
you
it. We just
Is there-
dropped him off at summer camp.
I mean, is there anything on the octopus that's like worth? Can I investigate? Is there anything worth like harvesting from it if people are going to rest
I
up?
mean, there absolutely is. Like,
Yeah.
if you want to like harvest some stuff off the octopus.
Yeah, I would like to do that, and I would just love to cast guidance if somebody would want to do that.
Okay, what were you gonna say, Jake?
It's like that's some good eating.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, So Jake and Rhea head over to the octopus and start like peering at it, like they're gonna get ready. Asturias, you're talking into the stone. Reginald, you're like tentatively like putting the potion back away. When I think as the pair of you are over here, Jake and Rhea, you hear like the sound of like the water like splash. There's this perpetual lapping of like the waves crashing up against the rubble, right? But I think you hear like the dripping of water on the metal, and then you hear like bink bink, and just past the octopus's corpse, right in front of you, a figure emerges out of the ocean, standing probably like just over 6 feet tall. Is this person with this sort of aquamarine mop of hair clinging to their head, water trailing down their face. They have these kind of bright emerald eyes and this pale colored skin. They're clutching like a trident in one hand, wearing this like strange kind of gray leather underneath, with a cloak kind of trailing back around them. And I think they pull themselves up out of the water, like dink, their feet like kick onto the metal underneath them real quickly, and they peer up, and you hear a gasp. It's like, no! What have you done?
We defended ourselves.
Yeah.
Did he strike first at you? I would never believe it.
Yep.
Technically, he did strike first at us.
Yep.
Lies!
No.
You lie!
No,
Oh.
no, because technically it was the spiritual weapon. It was the chompers that attacked it first. That's not us.
Yeah, it attacked my friends.
And so this figure like leaps up onto the metal in front of you and is now like standing just behind the octopus, like, and it just points the trident like forward at the pair of you, Rhea and Jake, like, what are you doing here? Who are you people? How dare you? I cannot believe you've killed him.
If this was your friend, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's hard. That's hard.
And it's on a hunch he's also going to say in Aquin, please forgive us.
Reginald, you hear all this commotion from like where you're kind of like sitting, like looking up, waiting for the ship. You hear all this yelling. What are you gonna do?
Oh, I think I pull back out that healing potion and see the intensity.
Yeah.
Would you like me to roll again? I can roll again.
I think you have to.
I do.
Yeah,
I do. It's fine.
We've
it's
trapped
fine.
ourselves in that reality.
It can't be that good a second time.
I mean, give me double ones. That's how this is gonna roll, right? 2d4 plus 2.
Asturias, do you say anything as you come flying over to your friends?
Well, I did say that it attacked my friends. Oh, actually, that's still really good.
Just when you open it up a
Insanely
little bit,
good.
it just lost a little bit of potency, but that's just a little.
It's aged just a little bit. It's gone off. Just
exactly, the
in
oxygenation, it just a little
Yeah.
bit. And again, of course, he normally likes to sniff it a little bit, but no.
Sniffed it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Brandy
That's what he
Spectre.
said.
Yeah.
So I think that this figure like looks up at you in the sky, Asturias, and is like, tiefling.
Yeah, I'm like hovering like just above them, right behind.
What are you doing here, tiefling? What is the meaning of all of this?
We are explorers of the universe.
Murderers, more like.
Yeah, we came to see what's going on here. There's
What's
been
going
like
on here?
murdered Kanduris and weird guys around. So we came from Malpieti Prime. Maybe you've heard of it. Nobody seems to have heard of other planets. But that's where we were. And then this was the
They're
closest
from Missouri.
place. So we came here. It's called Missouri. It's a very famous planet.
Of course I've heard of Mizire.
Thank you.
All the Triton of Cerelia remember Mizire, but it has been long since your kin have come seeking this place out. How could you have done this? I thought you were supposed to be better than this. All that I read, all the tales I had told. Oh, my dear friend. And I think he, steps forward, placing a hand on the dead octopus. And he just looks up at you, glaring at you, Rhea, Jake.
Yeah, I mean, this one is totally on me. So I promise I will ask Clancy for forgiveness. And, what is your name?
Clancy, rite of reconciliation here. Go to confession. Forgive me, Clancy, for I have sinned.
I'm glad that he didn't show up 10 seconds later where Jake is actively harvesting it for lunch.
Right?
Yeah.
I hear calamari is tasty.
Oh my God.
He looks at you, Ray, as you ask him this, and he replies, I think, in Aquan. I think you hear the sound of yeah. But the name that he gives you to, he says, I am Reich Stannon.
Yeah, my name's Rhea. Well, my name also starts with R, so that's one thing we have in common. Wait, Asturias, give me the pamphlet.
I think he says,
you need one of the handbooks?
I didn't really intake any of it when I was copying it.
Yeah, it's important to read it.
Yeah. So we're sorry. Is there anything we could do to make it up to you?
I think there's space between 3 and 4 to add a 3.5 about not killing animal companions. Just pencil it in.
I know, I should have just talked to it, but that's...
I was about to.
I know.
I think a lot of people would stick with 3.5 and not go to 4 on the list.
No, yeah, I agree.
Can I just
3.5 the superior note.
What is his name? Rish?
Reese.
I think it was Reese Dannon, like the yogurt.
Yeah, yes. That's exactly Reese Dannon.
So,
tastes very Reese.
Just to explain the whole situation, there were these things. They were popping out from underneath, choking and pretty much
I almost died.
Yeah. And so in the whole thing of things popping up, we just assumed that your octopus was also gonna kill us. So you can see why we jumped to a conclusion.
We were attacked by 3 things with long arms that strangle.
Yeah.
Yes. The chokers have made home of this place since it was broken. Centuries ago, this is a place of terrible danger. I am the ward here. I am the one who is supposed to keep safe this space. He was my friend in helping.
We took care of some of the chokers. I'm sure there's more, but...
Oh, there's many.
I figured.
I mean, I don't want to critique. You got a hard job. There's a lot of chokers that pop, but they did, get choked pretty much to almost dying. So, I'm not sure why I brought that.
I think he's just staring at you, shaking his head, and he's like, yes, it's a hard job, but one that I am up for. Every Triton of Cerelia is up for the task of protecting what's left of this place. Even those trapped above the surface.
What is it that you're protecting?
The last of those who live, the last of those who remember the ways of your people. And I think he gestures up to you, Asturias, as you're flying. And I think it's at this point when he looks up, he gasps again, by the tides, as we see the dragonfly descending from the sky, and he looks back at you you truly did come from the heavens. You've traveled through the stars.
I mean, I am the stars, but yeah.
I think he frowns at you a little bit, oh, the injustice of it. come from worlds away only to kill an innocent creature.
No.
Yeah, okay, but I did ask what I could
came
do
for.
to make up for. Like, I could go try to. We could, if you find, maybe another octopus.
I think he's just like, tang! He like smashes the trident down into like the wreckage of the steel. And it's like standing there like point down, like straight up for a second, right? And then he kind of like reaches out and he grabs a hold of the octopus and starts like just dragging it backwards. And he says,
so sad.
You can help me at least return him to where he should rest.
Jake goes to help.
Yeah.
Okay, and so I think that the pair of you are able to help as we kind of roll the octopus down over the wreckage, and it splashes into the water, the waves washing over it as it sort of vanishes away, and he turns looking back at you like, why have you come? If you wish to make up for this, I don't know that I don't know that I would ever forgive you, but there's certainly help that we could use here.
We've got a magical orb that tells us of locations of interest, and we're on a mission just to check them all out. And this was one of them.
Okay, I mean, that makes us sound like we're just tourists, and we're definitely not. We're definitely not.
Well, clearly, you're more than that.
Yeah.
We've been hired to explore the places that are cataloged in this device. And he looks towards the professor.
And I just, for my own sake, how much of this conversation was in Aquan versus common?
It's pretty much all in common,
Yeah.
except for when he said his name.
Yeah, I think after a while, feeling like this has gotten like within hand. First of all, Reginald kind of stays on like the stained glass stable ground for as long as humanly possible.
And then possible.
As Gifley, yes. And then it was like slowly starts like trying to kind of like crawl up, climb up over, and just barely been tracking this conversation. Just comes in when Jake looks over at the professor. I think he just says, "Yes, absolutely." I couldn't agree more.
That's Reggie,
Reese.
another R name.
I think he says, you're just here looking for Roto then? It fell 200 years ago.
I shall note that.
This orb really needs some updates.
What happened?
Was the breaking of my people, our weakness. We were overrun by the Sahagwan. They rose up from beneath the waves. They found some manner of terrible old magic that they unleashed. Great flying beasts took to the skies. Winds tore across the surface, devastating what stood on most of the islands. The kobolds were shattered. Those few with ingenuity were able to weather the storm, though it lasted for decades. That's what I've read in the history books. They say that the Sahagwan were unquenchable in their desire and fury for destruction. We still skirmish with them to this very day, though they... And he like glances down to the water where the octopus has like vanished. He says, they still hold dominion over the surface beneath the waves, I'm sad to say. And so we few Tritons who endure have done our part to keep safe what we can remember. Those who yet endure and need protection.
I mean, that seems like a really important and like noble job that you're doing.
Indeed, it is, Tiefling. Your kin may have forgotten their old oaths to keep safe the promises made to ours in the beginning, but we remember what we were taught. We've risen up. We stand as the bulwark against the tide of evil that would pollute all that is left of poor Cerelia. This place is the prime example, he says. Within the bowels of the catacombs beneath broken Weroto, many of these chokers breed and live. They are led by one darker yet, an old foe of mine. So what then? You mean to leave? He glances up at the ship as it's kind of lowering itself down.
No, we're gonna go back to the ship to rest up, but I do think we owe you something. This old foe. What's his name?
Oh, I do not know his name. I do not even know if he has one for himself, but he is one of the deep scions.
Maybe he's like the Sturge. Did not have a name.
He says, far cleverer than those foul creatures. He is smart and cunning. He serves the Sahagwin and whatever dark overlords drive them forward. He is one of the deep scions.
Did you say? I was wondering. Scions, you say?
PSION or SCION?
Good
Well, in the
question.
language of Aquan, it would be ION.
Which to
In the
Jake
language
means
of
what?
Aquan, is he implying?
SCION.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
So that's a big difference.
I was gonna say
Yes.
that's what Troy heard. PSIO, and I was like, oh boy.
So
Somebody get the badman.
He's a discontinued Toyota vehicle. Got it.
I think he says, if you seek civilization here, there is a place, one of the last cities where there's commerce and trade still maintained by the kobolds that endure.
And Reginald's just looking around.
Not more kobolds.
He says, it is not near here, but Tatomi is not far. Some few hours as the whale swims.
Speaking of whales,
Are the chokers that are down there? Are they a problem for you or ward of this place? Are they causing destruction and terror to
They
other people?
always do.
I should
They're
think
killers.
so.
Yeah, he says.
Well, this place seems like it's not very. It doesn't seem like we're there wasn't a lineup to get here, Reggie.
Well,
Reese
they haven't invested in the tourism bureau. Regardless.
Yeah.
I think Reese says, indeed, they are. He says they are always seeking to move further. They breed here like eels, mostly hunting fish, sometimes taking larger prey. But when they rally, they will find some flotsam that they can strap together to ride the currents. They seek whatever intelligent thinking things they can find to consume. They seem to prefer the flesh of thoughtful creatures over the fish.
That's why they picked you, Asterius. So thoughtful. The most thoughtful. Yeah. No, not helpful. Okay. Good to know.
You said this Tatomo? Tatomo?
Tatanka.
He says,
Totoro?
He says
Buffalo.
Tatomi.
Tatomi?
Tatomi.
Tony?
Just
Tony.
Where is it relative to here? How in which direction? Which way is north?
He chuckles like land dwellers. And he just points with the trident, He says, this is north. The sun will set, of course, in the east and rise in the west tomorrow morning. He says,
But how many moons does How many moons
Jake-
do you have?
Jake takes
Two,
up his nav
of
gator's
course.
tool and
Yeah.
looks at the compass. Assuming there's a magnetic north on this planet, which there may not be.
There is.
Oh.
Yeah, there is. You pull it
Oh,
out, and
so
it lines up
convenient.
exactly with what he says. Yeah.
Checks out.
He says
His story
there-
checks out.
2 moons, Tiefling. And at this point, the ship has like kind of landed, the bridge dropping down from the back, and he's like looking at it, and he looks back at you like, what's your plan then? How many of you are there on the thing?
Yeah. There's a
Well,
few
you
more
know.
of us.
Technically hundreds, but if you don't count my bees, 7.
Plus Waffle,
think-
plus Jeffrey.
I think Waffle and Jeffrey are a little bit.
Nine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want some food or something? You could come have.
I've got some slightly used whale meat.
Mhm.
Monsters.
Oh
You
yeah,
don't eat whale?
space whale.
I don't-
Space
I
whale.
Me
Whale
neither.
that has not touched the sea.
What do you eat? Like, what? Yeah, kelp or something? What do you eat?
That's exactly what we eat. Yes, kelp. Yes, it's very versatile. Quite frankly.
Yeah.
Kelp rolls, kelp
He's-
pasta, kelp
he's-
sandwiches. We're a great fan of soup.
There's
Believe it or not.
there's Segan.
I like.
Yeah, it's a well-known
That
fact.
one
about
got
you.
me. That one got me, Kurt.
Soup is it's mostly liquid, so
Yeah, how do
interesting that
you?
you eat so much of that? But
Yeah, and how do you consume that underwater?
Wouldn't you like to know, Toto?
we
Well-
would like to know. That's why we're at.
I know.
You want to come for lunch,
The
and then
primordial soup.
we'll rest up, and then we'll see what to do next.
I would invite you to join us and enjoy a very nice charcuterie board, but I appear not to have it anymore. As such, the best that I can offer is tea. It's
I mean, we've got stuff.
liquid with plant juice.
I think he's like
Yeah, it's leaf
staring at
juice.
the ship. He's like looking past you all as you're talking, like looking at the ship as like the 4 feet of it kind of like chink land on the rubble on the deck, like zzz. And I think we see Doc with Waffle like flying over her shoulder, standing in the bridge, kind of tentatively watching you, the hand going to the battle axe, and he turns and looks, and I think he just like, well, I would have to be a fool to pass an opportunity like this, I suppose.
Yeah,
Very
the
well.
ship is so cool.
It is very good tea.
I will
Sure.
join you then. Let us break your tea and remember the soul who we send back to the sea today.
Whose name was...
Embanea. She was a mother to thousands in her time, a teacher, a scholar, and a noble friend. His shoulders like to shake a little bit, and a tear of salt water runs down his very wet face. I think a lot of you with your heads down, like walking towards the back of the ship, and Doc's got like her head cocked, like, what the fuck is going on here, you know? And the 4 of you will take Reese Dannon onto the deck of the Dragonfly to rest and drink tea and hear the story of Embanea. And I think, is that where we leave our adventurers today?
I think so. It's early, but that's fine. It's a good
I'm sorry.
stopping point.
I'm
Oh,
sorry
it's
for
so
the
early?
tragic.
It's 11.
But like,
Oh, it
it's
is.
very,
oh,
very
sorry.
funny.
Yep.
It's very funny. That was very funny, you guys. I mean, like, that's the whimsy we're talking about, right? When you accidentally kill a guardian's pet or something like that. That's whimsical, isn't it?
It's great. It's great. It's great. Shenanigans.
That was very funny, you guys.
Stagwin
You felt all that.
shenanigan.
But that felt all very, very.
At the very, I was like, he's gonna attack, right?
Yeah, that was super whimsical, Taylor. I don't know what you're talking about. It was real whimsy.
Yeah, choker
cool.
and one shot Zed, like real whimsy. It's great.
When are we doing the Whim musical?
The whims use the
I mean,
whims. Yeah, I don't know.
all he has to do is join us, gain a level in Wizard, take 5 familiar as a first level spell, and he can summon his own octopus anytime he wants to.
Yes, but she won't be a legend of her people and a sage that has
And a mother
lasted
to
for
thousands. Or
My
mother
like
to thousands.
mission now is that I'm gonna try and find an octopus and eventually bring it back.
Make sure you find one that has that same like dark spot
Yeah.
right here, so he looks the same. And
Well,
we can fool him.
The whole thing, my whole like Ray is that like she's like out here because like the thing is that you go and you're supposed to just like find what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to, and you just know. And now I think this Ray is in her brain. It's like it must be to replace the octopus. It must be.
Nancy says, yeah.
Clearly, that's the thing.
Oh my god. That was very fun, you guys. I hope you had fun tonight. I enjoyed that. This was a good one. Here you go. You're on Cerelia. There's ruins. There was a great army of Sahagwin that rose up. You've met a Triton protector. You know that there's a city with
Named
kobolds.
Reese's Pieces. Reese's Reese
Dannon.
Drannen.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Peanut butter yogurt.
That's what it was. Yeah, that's right. Peanut butter yogurt.
Jake's disappointed there aren't more beaches.
Is it because it has the word "bee" in it?
I'm trying to
gotta
lay some
travel.
eggs. What's going on?
You literally just got off the plane. You haven't even left the tarmac yet. You know, there's more. There's more to this world than just the landing strip. You know.
Well, we certainly got a warm welcome. Immediately got buzzed on the way in, and then landed, and then go gadget arms, and yeah.
I'm always
It's a 0
buzzed.
HP.
Poor Asturias. That was close. Way to like fight through the pain there. Not die immediately. Good job.
I like it.
Excellent.
And literally right before that too. Like this, there's so many moments from this. You're like, I feel like I'm like 20 feet up. That feels like not strategically correct, but that's where I am.
Because, like, no, I'm like hovering above the ground, which like Zed thinks is a really bad idea, but is what logically makes sense. Like they're just floating like right over the surface of what they can see, like hovering just above it to avoid the inconvenience of picking their way through metal, but they're not trying to be like.
I was delighted because you put yourself right next to the invisible choker, you know, that was like hiding in the rubble there. And I was like, oh, how high did you say? Oh,
yeah, not
cool.
far. Yeah, I know.
Great.
You're welcome.
Cool.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Meanwhile, like Reginald immediately was like, must destroy, must release. And I'm like, oh, and I've got Featherfall. This is perfect. Like, if they fall, I've got them. And then I look and I'm like, yes, I know that spell. Do I have it prepared today? I do not. Because who expects to need to Featherfall in a water planet?
On the water world. Exactly. You can high dive right off the ship. Well, that was cool. I know we're definitely down to Doc next week, but we do have Badman and Lux are going to be looking to play. So we'll see. Maybe we run with 6 if you guys are into that. But
I don't think I've seen either of them in a long time. Like it's been at least a month since I've seen them.
Okay. I'm going to maybe need a spreadsheet. Okay. Noted.
You need to write down our names.
Yeah, you and spreadsheets go so well together.
Oh, yeah. It's really great. Yeah.
Notice I'm just sitting here saying nothing.
Yeah. The academics will make the spreadsheet.
Nope.
I was an academic once. I'm not asking Troy to ever make me another spreadsheet. He's earned my eternal friendship for the one spreadsheet he built. That's it. That's all I need. He built 2. He's actually built like 10, but we just count them all as one. And
yeah, the tabs. You should have made a new sheet every time.
Those
You
tabs,
just kept making tabs.
Those sheets in the sheet.
Yeah, nope. The more there are, the more files there are, the less likely you are to use them. That's
Yeah,
legit.
no,
I know.
100% agree.
100%. Yeah.
It's true.
Anyway, nobody knows what we're talking about.
Nope. It's fine. It's fine.
I love Kevin Costner's Waterworld. No joke, no irony. It's a magnificent film. It's Americana.
It's not the
right
first
there.
time this has come up.
Yeah, because I love it. I'll talk about it given any opportunity I possibly have.
This
so
is
it
very
will come
much
up again.
the vibe that I was getting from this description already, especially when you started talking about the chokers stitching together pieces of metal and riding the waves. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? And
Chokers, smokers, what's
all
the
I can
difference?
think is like Reginald in the movie Waterworld. And it just...
Running around on the catamaran.
His foot just like slams down and bursts through the keel of the ship. I'm terribly sorry.
I definitely saw that film in theaters with my D&D friends, like when it came out, and I desperately begged them, and have not stopped for like the ensuing 30 years of like, yo, but can we run a pirate campaign? Like, please, please. Please. I just want to be on a ship. Anyway, this was really fun, you guys. I had a good time tonight. We will be back Sunday, Kings of Neon, 6 p.m. We have a really cool episode coming this week. We're bringing in a special guest star while we're going to be short one Kevin Mahadeo for another week. A friend of DM Philly over here and a pretty prominent figure in the Post Show Recaps Discord. So yeah, come pop in for that if you want to check that out on Sunday night. And then we will be back in space next Tuesday, 8 p.m. With a handful of people that aren't here and probably a handful of people that are. And so yeah, this was a good time.
I think so.
Yeah, that
We'll
feels
see
inevitable.
What other
right?
legendary creature we destroy.
Yeah, exactly. With that being said, Troy, what's going on with you? Anything that you want to talk about before we part ways? Anything we should be paying attention to out there in the world?
It is summer, so enjoy what you can of the summer. I mean, it's not technically summer, but it's like pretty much summer. Have fun. Be kind to one another. Be safe. But it seems like, at least in the States, things start to open up, which is really nice and enjoyable. So, hug the people you can hug and tell them you love them. That's my promotion.
Excellent. I really love that. That's a great sentiment. Listen to Troy. He's a good man. Grace, how about you? What's going on with you these days?
Follow me on Twitter at @HighFromGrace. I do a podcast called Hold Up, where we look at LGBTQ media from the past and see if it holds up. Man, I feel like such a shill after Troy's like, be nice to it. And I'm like,
no, you're not. Hype it up.
Nothing to promote. It's great.
No, I know. And then Brooklyn Zed and I did a bunch of podcasts about the TV show Pose, the final season. That's all in the Post Show Recaps Patreon feed. So check that out. And there'll be an episode coming this week they did a 6-part docu-series about Pride. It's kind of neat. It does
nice.
kind of looks at queer history from the 60s, and every episode is a different decade. So it's 60s all the way through the 2010s. So that will be cool. I think that's it. That's all I get going on.
Cool. That's plenty. That's all good stuff. Kurt, how about you, man?
You can follow me at Kurt Clark with 2 C's on Twitch. Popping in randomly to play some Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Finally getting sucked into that. Otherwise, you can tune into Rob Has a Podcast this Thursday, where we're going to be doing a little bit of a rap rewind and look at the 2013 reality show Whodunit. Our focus is going to be largely around episode 2, but you can catch episodes 1, 2, and all the episodes on YouTube and on abc.com. Highly recommend checking it out. Great murder mystery competition reality series where the contestants show up to this mansion to solve a mystery for $250,000 and don't realize that they're going to have to basically solve each other's deaths as they get bumped off one by one in amazingly just strange ways. So highly recommend, if you don't want to listen to the podcast, that's fine, but do check out Whodunit on YouTube, and on ABC.com.
That's so funny. It's
usually
often
the
the reverse.
opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, don't watch the
Well,
show.
see, it
Listen to
doesn't
the
matter
podcast.
if you watch the show.
Yeah.
You should listen to the podcast.
Kurt, I've never seen it. I've never seen Who Done It. So
I highly recommend it.
Yeah, you were hyping it up the other night, and I definitely want to go check it out now after we talked about it on Sunday. I've made a note.
If you've ever listened to Rob has a podcast and you hear Lindsay,
Yeah, Josh Lieber just put that in the chat.
yeah, that came from Whodunit. So
Yeah, that was a revelation when you told me the other day.
Whoa.
It's so funny, all these like RHAP like isms that have like permeated my brain, and I don't even know where half of them are from anymore. You know, like that's great.
I
love
don't
it.
know how we're going to talk about it without talking about the ending. But it's like a really quick, like 9-episode watch. That's just like a ride. So
Okay, cool. I'm in. Zed, how about you?
Related to Whodunit, for absolutely no reason at all, I'm just gonna tell folks, if they don't already know, that The Mole is coming to Netflix starting on Monday. We think at least the first 2 seasons, maybe other seasons. It's a similar show to Whodunit in that you're trying to figure out. It's a mystery, and you're trying to solve the mystery to win the prize at the end of it. I think from around the same time. Oh no, earlier. You said 2013, right?
yeah.
Yeah, no, The Mole is from like the year 2001. First 2 seasons were hosted by Anderson Cooper. If you've watched it before, you've watched like VHS rips on.
Wait,
You just went mute, Zed. We cannot hear you.
VHS
they
tapes on
froze
what?
on the
On
word
what?
rip.
Well,
I think
that's
they were saying that
unfortunate.
if you've tried to watch season 2.
Yeah.
It's been very difficult to find that because it's just been VHS rips of old TV recordings. But yeah, definitely check out The Mole. It's a great series. I think I actually went back and listened to our first podcast about Whodunit. We directly referenced The Mole and Murder in Small Town X as inspiration
Sure.
for it. So
Yeah.
if you like mysteries, definitely check out The Mole when it comes to Netflix, and also go back into the Rob as a Podcast archives and listen to Zed, Josh, and Jessica Leese, I believe, talking about the first season of The Mole.
On
It's a great
Mole
series. So,
Patrol.
plug that on their behalf.
Awesome.
The Mole Patrol. Yeah.
Awesome. Very well done, Kurt. Way to finish up the Zed plugs.
And they're on Twitter
Anyway.
at Hard Rock Hope if they didn't say so.
And
They
and
sure
the
are.
Final
You
Fantasy
should follow
7 podcast, and the post finale recap was 3 hours long. So
The Final Fantasy VII podcasts are rad. I'm trying to get caught up on Pose. I'm very excited. But yeah, go follow Zed. Listen to the stuff they're doing. They're very smart. And so I guess with that, we will part ways tonight. We'll be back. Thank you all for coming. Thanks for the subs. Thanks for the follows. Yeah, I could always use your Amazon Prime subs if you have it out there. You get a freebie. I need
That's
it more
what
than
I should be
Bezos.
promoting. That's what I
Hook it
should
up.
be
Hook it up.
shilling.
Yeah,
Forgot.
you sure
I'll
should.
hit you next
With
time.
that, no problem. I'm going to leave because Zed's camera being froze has now thrown everything out of whack. Goodbye, my friends. Good night. Good night. Good night.
Bye.